All right, all right, all right. It is that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time. We are now live. Peace to everybody in the building, digital building. Oh, y'all in for a treat tonight. Y'all are in for a treat tonight. Wow. I'm about to bring my guest on. Y'all know who they are. They've been on this channel plenty of times. But before I introduce them, as usual, want everybody to get comfortable. We're gonna be here a little longer than usual tonight. It's gonna be one of them nights. It's gonna be an amazing, epic, classic, historic night. I want y'all to get comfortable. Get you something to drink, get you a little snack or something like that, and we'll be right back after a brief commercial. Give me about 60 seconds, and we'll be back, family.
Hey there! Had a bad dream? I have dreams too. Some parts are scary and some parts are fun. Always remind yourself, it's only a dream and everything will be okay. I had a dream about being in a forest too. Check it out, my pet Petey was with me. Order your copy of Kayla Petey and the Forest on Amazon today.
Hey family, it's King Simon, the founder of Numerovation. Remember, if you want to book a session with me and get a Numerovation consultation, all you have to do is text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. And if you want any of my books, go to linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. That's King Simon the Numerovator. And your books are available on Amazon. Remember, I'm the El Numero Uno, the Numerovator himself. And if you want to book a session, all you have to do is text me. Make sure you get my books on Amazon. I love you. Peace.
All right. Oh, y'all ready tonight? We got almost 1,000 people in the first 2 minutes. Y'all ready tonight? Hey, family, without how do they say it? Without further ado, is that what they say? Without further ado, yes. I want to welcome back to the platform. Y'all haven't seen these two gentlemen in a while. Dr. B, Sirius, and Billy Carson. Welcome back, my brothers, my cosmic brothers.
It's great to be here. It's an honor.
My cosmic brothers,
great to be back.
My Orion constellation brothers.
Yes.
Indeed. Oh man, how's everything been with y'all? What's going on with y'all?
Man, amazing. I'll let Dr. B go first.
Yeah, things have been very interesting, especially since the 3rd of July when Sirius and the sun lined up. Some things happened, and we got to do a whole show about that. But it's changed my life and the life of a lot of people. And there's a huge shift happening. This shift, we talk about these shifts, right?
Yeah.
We think it's going to be easy. It's like, on television, special effects, but you go through a lot. So it's been a lot of change. It's been a lot of building, expansion. It's actually been an amazing journey. So this time is the best time to be here now. This is the beginning.
Wow.
Yes.
What about you, Billy? How's everything
been? You hit it on the head, Dr. B. It's the best time to be alive. Don't listen to these end of days preachers. Don't listen to these end of days forecasts. And the world is going to end on this date, and the world's going to end on that date, and this is the signs of the time, and all this kind of stuff. No, these are the best days to be alive. We're blessed to be here. We hit the genetic lottery to be in this era, in this time frame, and you got to recognize that. Because like I said before, this isn't the era of, the American Holocaust with 111 million indigenous Americans being slaughtered. People who lived here before it was colonized, right? And then you had the bubonic plague, the Black Plague, millions of people dying, almost wiped out the human race. The Papal Inquisitions, which killed over 80 million people worldwide. All right, so we have all these things going on. Back in the day, and they're not going on right now. Now, are there bad things happening right now? Yeah. Are things getting actually worse? I think things are becoming more obvious because of the technology that we have access to. It's not that they're becoming worse. We're becoming more aware of everything that's going on. So right now, based on what I've seen and traveling the world so many times, I've looped this planet over 20 times. This is really for us the most amazing time to be alive, and I'm just sucking up every moment, smelling every rose, and just getting ready for what's to come. And what's to come is going to be so incredible and so great, and I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed. Wow. Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. Every time I leave a broadcast, a live with you two gentlemen, I feel more energetic, and that's why I love to do lives with y'all, because I know you add to my EMF field, you add to my electromagnetic field, and that's a beautiful thing. So let me make sure everybody in the chat is good. Everybody good in the chat? Want to give a couple of people more time to come into the chat. So we have a very important show today. I mean, like I said, it's going to be a historical show. We have an important announcement today. Today, where is the announcement of GodPower 2 workshop, and we are extremely excited about that. And we're gonna have, I mean, this show tonight. I usually don't talk about how good the show is going to be before the show, but man, y'all in for a treat tonight. But I want to say something real quick. A brief introduction before this comes from my heart. That's why I took the deep breath before we start the conversation and before I roll out the questions with Billy. I know y'all want to hear Billy and Dr. B. I want to give a little introduction to y'all about this workshop that we're putting together, that we have put together, and that we are presenting to y'all this time. This workshop comes from my heart, ladies and gentlemen. It is my greatest piece of work. It's my greatest accomplishment, and it hasn't happened yet, but it's happened in my mind yet. I live in the present. I live in the now. I have the ability to not foresee the future, but to tap into the eternal now. And by tapping into the eternal now, you may think I'm psychic. You may think I'm predicting the future, but I'm living in this eternal bliss that is the now. This came straight from my heart, like I said, just like the first one did. We're taking a different approach. I've been on YouTube for a long time, family, a very long time. With this workshop, the approach we're taking with this workshop and the approach we're taking with humanity, with our race, with our people, with our community, with the global community, with everybody in the world who resonates on this frequency, is more of an emotional one. We have been trying to tell y'all for the past couple of years how important emotion is, and how they program us is through emotions. So how we're going to reprogram ourselves is through emotions. So with this workshop, it's almost like a DMT ayahuasca experience. It's like it's between the meditation, between the sound baths from Dr. B, and we're going to get into all that. I have in this workshop, I have a section that is 7 sacred prayers with Sister Myra, Professor Kaba, Hank Rising's son, Dr. B, Billy Carson, who else is on there? Queen Afua. We have so many things, and I wanted it to be emotional because that's how the change ultimately happens. Now, I want to, like I said, give me 5 minutes before I start with the questions, because this workshop, this comes from my heart, and this is important. There was a couple of experiments done, and I was watching Greg Braden channel. Some of y'all heard some of this information before, some of y'all haven't. And I'm going to talk fast. Experiment 1. It was removed from a tube. They had like a tube. Like let's say this is a tube and there's holes on both ends. Air was removed from a tube to create a vacuum. Now, there's nothing in the tube, but you know, nothing is not nothing. Nothing is something. So there were photons detected in that vacuum in the tube. Now, of course, the photons were completely random. They're just random photons in the tube. What scientists did is take DNA and they put it in the presence of the photon in the tube. The thing the photons did was they created an order. It became ordered. It wasn't random no more. It became ordered. So the conclusion with this experiment, and you could research it more in detail. Like I said, it's on Greg Braden's channel. I'll put the link after the video. The conclusion was human DNA influences the field and the stuff that the world is made of, which are photons. Experiment 2 that was done. The heart produces frequencies that shape the DNA. And the ability for DNA to express fully is determined by its shape. So human DNA was isolated and it was placed in the tube. No, I'm sorry. Human DNA was isolated to observe changes in heart-based emotion. In front, now this is what's amazing about this study. Like I said, give me 5 minutes, y'all. In front of the heart-based emotion, and this is the best representation, physical representation I could give that can make an obvious example of what I'm talking about. In front of this DNA, in front of this human emotion, this heart-based emotion, in front of gratitude, in front of appreciation, in front of love, the DNA expanded like the hair. So a lot of people have coily hair on this planet, especially black people. When you uncoil your hair, imagine that's DNA being fully expressed. Now, the only way that DNA could uncoil the way this sister is combing her hair is in the presence of gratitude, love, and appreciation. Now, when it is uncoiled, it is able to express all of the genes that is in that segment of the DNA. The conclusion of this experiment was that human emotion produces effects which defy conventional laws of physics. So, family, we have DNA that influences the field, and we have human emotion that influences the DNA that influences the field. What does that tell you about who we are? It's written all over us. Look at our hair. Look at who we are. Could you imagine your DNA looking fully expanded and you being able to tap into your DNA fully expanded versus it's being coiled up? Because when you're in fear and negativity, it's extremely tight coil. So based on that conclusion about human emotion, I said to myself, this workshop has to be emotion based. We have to uncoil the DNA. It's not going to happen intellectually. This is not an intellectual thing. The so-called primitive people of the planet know this. The intellect is not going to do this shit, y'all. Pardon the language. It has to come from a heart-based emotion. And family, when I say we tapped into this, I'm super proud that we tapped into this. And with that being said, told y'all to give me 5 minutes. We're going to have a great show tonight. With that being said, I would love for Billy and Dr. B, while I'm going to put the link to the workshop in the chat. The link is already in the description, but I'm going to put it in the chat. But this is amazing, amazing, amazing information. Some of it y'all know, some of y'all don't. But with that being said, Billy and Dr. B, comment on that, and then we'll get started with the amazing show tonight. All right, go ahead, gentlemen.
All right. Well, man, that was a powerful metaphor that you used there. A very, very powerful metaphor. And I can see exactly where you're coming from, because myself, Dr. B, and you being involved in the creation of this new workshop, which is very emotional. As you saw, the emotion when I was at the studio, recording one of the 7 prayers that we're going to be giving away with this event. And what I like about this is the fact that it is emotional, because it really shifts something in the consciousness. It's not just another one of those, oh yeah, this was great, good knowledge, thank you. This is going to be one of those workshops that are really going to touch the deep seat of the soul. And I know this for a fact because I've already experienced it before the workshop has happened, just by in the creation process of what we're doing in the workshop. And again, Dr. B, you were my witness there. Rich, you were my witness there. Extremely emotional. It's so powerful, man. And I told you, which I don't know when we'll reveal this, but I told you about the powerful thing that happened to me, Brother Rich, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you want to bring it up or we want to wait later, but it was very powerful. In other words, a self-fulfilling prophecy occurred during the prayer, one of the 7 prayers, which I contributed to for this workshop, which are exclusive to this workshop. You won't hear it on any radio station, podcast, YouTube short, TikTok, Instagram, reel, whatever. You won't hear it anywhere. You're only going to hear it directly from this workshop when you get a ticket. And the power behind what we're doing with this workshop, we're really tapping into the psyche and the consciousness. And we're going to bring out, and we're going to teach people how to focus their energy and their mind power in ways that they've never done before. This is really going to be a super interactive workshop, probably the most super interactive workshop that we've ever done before on this scale. And I'm really looking forward to it because what Rich is talking about is really amazing. We're talking about tapping into the power of the quantum field via our own DNA and allowing that DNA and allowing our consciousness to interact with that DNA and focus a beam, which I'll be teaching people how to use a particular procedure to focus a beam of energy and consciousness into the field to attract and draw in anything that they want. It's how I've manifested my life to date. It's how I've been able to become the person that I have become. And literally, I feel like everything that I touch literally turns to gold. That's the mindset I have before I touch anything. And Brother Rich, you can attest to this. I mean, you've been around me long enough. This is my mindset. This is not a hallucination. This is not pretending or acting or trying to sell a ticket. I literally walk around with this blueprint for God power in my spirit, in my soul, every single day, and have been doing so for some time now. We're talking about, a couple of decades. And the understanding of what Brother Rich just described to you, if you can grasp what he was just talking about in the opening minutes of this segment, that alone is enough to meditate for a week on that. Just what he opened up with is enough to meditate for a week. If you can begin to wrap your mind around the influence that you specifically as an individual have on the quantum field, and you have enough DNA in your body to stretch from here to the end of the doggone galaxy. You have DNA in your body that can store 13.5 billion years of data. DNA is a storage mechanism. Your atoms also store information. They found out that each individual atom can store data, and they've been able to write information onto an atom. So we now know that every atom and every strand of DNA in our body is full of what? Information, but also it's quantum information, and it can interact with multiple dimensions. But we're going to teach you how to harness that power. Dr. B?
Speaking of emotion and feeling and all these things, and versus what we call intelligence, because there's a intuitive intelligence, but then there's another intelligence that's more like logic. A lot of times we want things to make sense. We want it to make scientific sense. We want it to happen 3 times exactly the same. But what we find is that in this realm, things may only happen once for you. You see, and you can't even sometimes speak to somebody else about some experiences because there's no words to explain a mystery. Mystery means no tongue. I was watching these shows, the mysteries of this and the mysteries of that. And, at the end of the show, they always say, well, we don't know. You watched the whole show, you saw the commercials, but they can't explain a mystery. We are now evolving at another level. We're not done evolving. We're not done changing. We're shifting very quickly now. And I'm just going to cover this really quickly. Speaking of emotion, when we did the first God power, towards the end, I broke down because I've never done anything at that scale. And it wasn't about how many people were there. It was the way the information was being covered. And, a lot of people know that I'm channeling a lot of times. It's not me. I can't take responsibility. I open up and just let it come through, which I learned through music. And I'm going to teach that actually in the class to how to do that. And all my ancestors, all my planetary energies, all the beings that were here with a message were coming through me, and they all desired to speak in God Power 1. I've never had this happen. Now, usually there's 2-3 beings that's talking through me, and I'm like the cut selector, the DJ, deciding which record to play. But my parents, my grandparents were all there online.
You told me that.
And then Dick Gregory came online. And what happened was I became emotional because what was in my body, because, you feel in your body, it all came out. This is happening to lots of people right now. And it's been happening since the God power and before, but it's really intense now because we're tapping in at a level where feeling is really, it trumps this knowledge thing, what you feel. When we were on the way to New York for the 7 prayers that we just talked about, I'm going to talk about it deeper later, but I went through and am still going through one of the most intense situations I've ever been in my life. I'm having a whole shift. In fact, you may see me at sometimes here. I may go off camera for a minute, come back because something has shifted at a whole nother level in my body, right? Most of our bodies are stuck in the past because it's been programmed by, all the things we've been through, all these experiences. But my spirit and my soul was expanding to another level, and I was being torn apart right there in New York with you guys. It was so much happening, but I realized at some point that this was the challenge to break free from the old paradigm, the old situation. You have to be ready to break free. And when you break free, it's not always going to be so easy. It's a lot because your body, right? You're programmed in one way, but then there's an open program in that DNA that says, look, that's not the program. You can tap into any program you desire. For instance, there was an experiment done years ago, since we're talking about experiments, where they had 3 sets of people who all needed knee surgery. Okay, the ligaments were torn in their knee. They took took all 3 sets, and they showed them the video of how the operation was going to go. So they saw the operation. Then they, anesthetized each group. In the first group, they opened up their knee and sewed the ligament back together. The next group, they cut open their knee and sprayed water and sewed it back together. The third group, they cut the knee open and did nothing. All 3 groups healed at the same time, but they say the one where they did nothing actually healed just a bit faster. Why? Because the mindset was that something is happening. Your mind is creating every second of this thing. Once you're able to take full control, right, and start feeling things as if they've happened, they happen. When I was going to New York to do this thing, I had a lot of things in my head about this GodPower too, because this is a challenge. This one is huge because we're going to be covering information that you just can't find on the YouTube. I'm going in the basement. I'm going what they used to say in DJ's world. I'm going into the crates and pulling out some things that I was taught as a child, as becoming a master drummer. You see, as a child, there's things that we were taught how to go into trance. Yes. How to actually change and transliterate sounds and rhythms. We're going to be actually doing those things, and it's never been done before. This is not something you could just go Google. Oh boy, we've heard about that. So this is going to be a challenge for all of us. We're inviting everybody to come along with us, and we're all going to be going through it on this one. This is something we're doing together because we have to do it.
Indeed.
This is the time we have to make this shift on this planet.
All right. So I want to just give y'all a sneak peek. So let me just explain this to y'all. So like I said, we're going to be on here for a little while tonight. It's going to be an amazing show tonight. I know y'all already loving it so far. The workshop is virtual. Anybody in the world can attend. It does not matter where you are. You can attend this workshop. You can sign up for it. The link, it's in October. I advise you to sign up early before seats are filled. There's always a bandwidth limit with events like this. We could never estimate exactly how big a virtual event is going to be. So we buy a limited amount, guessing, hoping that maybe this is the amount of people that will come. So I advise everybody to get your seats early, get them as soon as possible. What I want to tell y'all is that, so we have the actual workshop. Billy will be speaking for 4 hours. Dr. B will be speaking for 4 hours. Besides that, we've decided to add bonus content for the family this time around to give y'all extra material that will help y'all along your journey in life. One of the bonus materials, 2 of the bonus materials that's extremely, I'm gonna give you 3. One of them is a meditation album, an affirmation meditation album for me, Dr. B, and Billy Carson. We're all music producers. We're going to produce an album, not a big album, but probably 2 or 3 songs each. And we will have affirmations over it. Once again, family, I need you to listen from the start. This is emotional intelligence we're working on here. So this is going to tap into many areas. A lot of these gentlemen on YouTube, Joe Dispenza, a lot of them say one of the best ways to reprogram yourself is by rehearsing. You rehearse by saying, when you say affirmations, it's like you're rehearsing. I am this. It's like you're acting. It's like you're doing a take for somebody. I am Richard Merritt. I am Richard Merritt. It's like I'm doing a rehearsal take or something like that. And when I do that, that taps in, not me reading it. I am Richard merit. That right there, that shit ain't traveling far in the ethers. The ethers ain't carrying that very far. But if I am Richard Merritt, like I'm acting like I'm rehearsing, that's gonna go far. But what I want to say was, so we got the meditation album. We have Dr. B is providing, he's doing a sound bath therapy. So this is all bonus content that you will probably get a week before the workshop. But the main attraction, besides the actual workshop, is we have something called, and I'm proud, our executive producers, this is something called the 7 Sacred Prayers. And that's something that Queen Afua, Hank Riser's son, Sister Myra, Billy Carson, Dr. B, all of them were a part of. Loaded Lux even joined in. And these are like sacred conversations with God from master teachers that will inspire us and help us. It has become a part of my morning routine. I listen to it every morning. So what we're going to do, as soon as you buy a ticket, you will get the 7 Sacred Prayers within 24 to 48 hours, the longest. It will come from WeTransfer. Once again, family, it's coming from because it's a big file, it's gigabytes. It's coming from, I'm going to email it to you. I'll get your email from Eventbrite when you sign up. I will email it to you. The email will come from WeTransfer. And that is going to guide you the whole way until the workshop. I mean, this is phenomenal. This is the best work. This is the best thought thing. This is the best thing I've put together ever. It's called the 7 Sacred Prayers. Man, Billy got it so emotional. Billy stuff. Like I said, if y'all sign up, y'all will get this within 24 to 48 hours. This is going to hold you over until the workshop, because the workshop isn't until October. But this right here is going to hold you over until the workshop. But let me because I need to show y'all the level. We invested a lot in making this like so good for the people. So good for the people. Let me just show y'all, play y'all a couple of clips real quick. Hold up, y'all. Give Brother Rich a second. We got a lot of people in the chat today. This is awesome.
What's going on, loved one?
So this is
this right here, healthy. This is a special segment,
it's
man.
like an intro.
Brother Rich put together for y'all. With me coming into my own, into myself, and learning more about just the art form of life. You know what I mean? This segment right here is real special because you got a lot of like erudites and people, man, that gave great information with me helping to find myself and getting more in tune and tapping in. You know, a lot of people these days don't pray. I mean, a lot of us is not so much as church going folk, and I understand that. You know what I mean? It's a different time, different space, but with different paradigms and us shifting, it's almost most important that you find that connection with you, the true you, and understand sometimes we all don't have the same science with getting there, but learning from different leaders in our culture and in our community will help you find your way, which is the most important way to find and get in tune to the Most High. And I think this segment right here is very conducive for that. So we want y'all to just, take your time, tap in, learn from each elder, each segment. If it's something that you could extract from that to add to your repertoire, then I suggest you really do so, because it's all about you in this journey called life, and finding what you're here for, and purpose is very important. So without further ado, get in tune.
I'm talking to God now, the Father, the Mother, the Sister, the Uncle, the frequency of the universe, all entities, everything from a rock to a blade of grass, because it is in me, and I am God. And I'm talking about my life, and I'm asking right now, and I'm seeing all the things that are happening in my life, and all the blessings that need to be brought forth, and all the people that I can help. And I'm commanding the assistance right now from the God that dwells inside of my body, the God that's a frequency that I'm getting in tune with right now. And I'm asking, how many people can you bless me to help? How many people can I help this year? How many people?
Oh, I had it on mute. Y'all know I can't play y'all the whole thing. But family, this is fire. I'm gonna play y'all. I'm gonna just show y'all each speaker, but you know I can't play y'all the whole thing. Listen, this is the 7 sacred prayers. There has been nothing done like this before in human history, from what I know of, especially in modern time. These are masters at what they do, giving y'all sacred conversations with God that we could use as blueprints to tap into that emotional field that affects the DNA, that affects the quantum field that I talked about in the beginning of the show. So this was the goal that I was telling you that I was shooting and aiming for. Family, everybody killed it. I'm going to just play y'all snippet. I can't play you the whole thing. But like I said, if y'all sign up, you will get this. I'm going to send it to y'all within 24 to 48 hours. And this is the bonus content. This ain't even the workshop. This is the bonus content. We ain't even get to the workshop yet. And we're going to have we got a whole show tonight. Family, wait till y'all hear my questions tonight. This shit is fire all night. We on 1,000 all night. We not turning down. We turn it up all night long. We turn it up. Get comfortable. We turn it up all night. But I'm gonna just play you a couple of clips and then we'll get started with the main show. All right. I'm gonna play you a couple of clips. Can't play you the whole thing.
People, can I help within my own strength to hold the weight of planets so that I can continue the work, so that I can execute what I need to do. I'm commanding that I have this power and this strength to get me through the tougher days, the tough times, the days when it looks like everything is falling apart and I want to walk away and give up. Sometimes darkness is. Let me hear them. Let me, ancestors.
Really got emotional, y'all.
Let me hear them. Let me hear them in my body. Let them speak through every atom. Let me breathe wisdom, understanding, and knowledge at all times. As the world seems like it's going astray, give me the power to be a guiding light, to be a lighthouse in the dark, to stand strong and tall on the shore with my shoulders back and my chest out and my head up, and do what's right.
Be myself, with myself, for myself, for manifesting all the great things and the success that is arriving now. I am grateful in advance for love, wholeness, beauty, power. I am grateful for the voice to speak, the ears to hear, and the body to feel. I am grateful. I am grateful that I am standing on Mother Gaia and that she is here to support me. I am grateful that Father Sky is pouring its energy down through me. I am grateful for the oxygen that travels through my veins. I am grateful for the blood that courses through my veins, that travels the same distance as to be new and allow. I 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 allow.
Yo!
I allow.
Do y'all
I allow.
see this?
I allow.
Y'all ain't never seen
I
nothing
allow.
like this.
I allow.
Yo!
I allow.
You see the graphics?
I allow.
This is emotional. Oh my God. This is heart-based. Heart-based learning. This is heart-based learning. And y'all gonna get just a little more than I'm gonna have to end. This is heart-based learning. Come on. Come on, y'all.
As I think about praying to the Creator, and as I begin to understand who it is that we are as a people, I hold my hands out to receive the energy from the cosmic universe. And I pray that I vocalize for myself an understanding of who I am.
Yeah, I swear, word to everything I love. I told my lady, I said, if they don't cry, I'm going to be upset. I said, listen, I need them to cry. Not a bad cry, but we all have shit we have to release. Let's release it. And with this, we will release it. This ain't like reading a book, family. This is a whole nother. This came. I channeled this from the quantum field. Big Mama and them. Listen, y'all. Y'all get 1 more minute, then we gonna stop. This is 40 minutes long. So this is 40 minutes long of straight emotional, intelligent prayer, sacred conversation from the masters on this planet. 40 minutes. If you sign up and you buy this ticket, you'll get it emailed to you within 24 to 48 hours. Word of my mama, this has become a part of my morning routine. I listen to this every morning. This is Brother Rich's best work to date. I'm extremely proud of this, y'all. I am extremely proud. Thank you to the ancestors, my higher self, the spirits, everybody who's helping and guiding me to be the best version of myself. Thank you for allowing me to channel this idea. This will help humanity. Nobody's doing nothing like this, family. 1 more minute that we ain't even start the show yet. 1 more minute of this, and then we're gonna officially start the show. Quantum Shapeshifters, the Tetris gods. But we had to start by letting y'all know the most important project we have ever done. Is going down in October, and we're starting to tell the people about it today. 1 more minute, then we start the show.
Things that I've been put on this earth to do. Each and every one of us has been given a task to perform before we were conceived by our parents. But here we are, realizing all of the trials and tribulations that we experience is really to make us who we are. Our character is built during times of conflict and controversy, not during times of comfort and convenience. So as we move through life and we face what we face, don't curse.
And in the 60s, we would say, word is bond. I am the knot within the tamarisk.
Rich for this moment in activation. Jehovah.
Thank you to my self-value and self-worth. I am the salt of the earth, secure in the knowledge that I am a sacred universal birth. Summoned forth in a family cause for all to make witness that the one made last reflects the one made first. In an ancient return for a new beginning, in the harmonization of.
That's a snippet. That is 40 minutes long of sacred conversations with God. Family, when I tell y'all I'm so proud of putting this together, this is my most sacred. This is if you know, I'm content with life. I wanted to give y'all something. We invested so much. The studio itself, you don't even want to know how much renting that studio with all that fancy immersive technology costs and flying everybody out costs. But family, I wanted to give y'all something that y'all have never seen before. And I guarantee you, the 7 sacred prayers, you have never seen nothing like this done. I channeled this right here. This is not something that I've seen somebody else duplicate. I channeled this. This is amazing. This is the bonus content. This is not even the actual workshop. You will get this once you sign up, family. I'm hype. I'm gonna be hype all night. Like I said, we didn't even start the show tonight. We did not start the show tonight. We're letting you know about the workshop that's because we did not start the show tonight. We all got time tonight. Listen, if you when you sign up for the workshop, family, you will get this email to you within 24 to 48 hours. The longest. I have multiple people working the computer and the phones and the emails and everything. Sometimes it goes to junk emails coming from WeTransfer, but we're gonna make sure everybody get this. I need y'all. What I need for the people, because a lot of people bought tickets already. I really need y'all to listen to this every day leading up until the workshop. So the day of the workshop, I want to hear results. I want to hear people say, Brother Rich, Dr. B, Billy Carson, this happened, that happened, this happened, that happened. This is emotional intelligence. Once again, listen to how I started out the show. DNA affects the field. DNA organizes photons into shapes, sacred geometry, cymatics. But what about DNA? The thing about DNA is affected by the human emotion. Human emotion affects DNA, and in return, DNA affects the quantum field. It organizes photon lights and creates the picture that we call reality, the screen of reality, the movie screen of reality. This is we're approaching this from an emotional intelligence perspective. This is beyond intellect. We have stepped it up. Listen, family, this is the God year. This is 2023. We're going into 2024. 2024 is going to be extremely important. That X is going to be across the United States with the great eclipse. It's going down. We're getting you ready. With that being said, listen, I showed them the hey, Billy, Dr. B, we about to start the show.
You know,
y'all didn't see the footage. They didn't even see the footage.
No.
This is the first time they see the footage, man.
First of all,
what y'all think? What y'all think, man? You see, I'm hype.
First of all, when I saw Billy, he pulled up in the limo, and I was standing in front of the place in the days.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know who I was. And Billy was talking about what he went through to get here. I couldn't even really respond. I was having an out-of-body experience. So when I was asked to do my prayer, I don't remember it. I was totally gone. I was in a whole nother realm. So this is the first time I'm seeing it. I kind of vaguely remember everything, but my particles, all the pieces of me were scattered through the universe, but I could feel the rays of light coming through me, but it shut me up. It said, you get out of the way. And that's what we've got to do a lot of times, is get out of the way and allow what's supposed to happen to happen. But that time, and it's still happening now, just as a couple of weeks ago, has been very, very deep. And there's more we're going to be able to reveal about it, you know, about what happened. Everything that could possibly have gone wrong with me happened trying to get to that. And usually when you're tested like that, you know,
it's something big. It's something big.
It's something huge. It's gigantic. And I had to stay in Brooklyn in a little teeny hotel room for 2 days till I found myself.
You told me.
We'll talk about that later, but it's a huge. So they're not just prayers. These are statements to yourself, from yourself, with yourself, to the universe. So when you have something that is a goal mind or a gold map, and you're moving towards that goal, everything, the photons, the entire universe collapses in and says, if you're feeling it, especially in the heart, because the heart is magnetic, you're going to move towards it.
I want to go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You go ahead, Billy.
I was just saying, man, you know, Brother Rich, the day that I came up to the studio in New York to film, you know, my version of the prayer.
Yes.
On this production, this amazing production that you set up and executive produced. I had to work in 3 states in one day. I had to work in Miami in the morning. I had to work in New York with you to do the prayer in the afternoon. And then I had to work in California that night, right? Yeah. Which I accomplished the mission. There was so many challenges for me to connect and do all 3 of these missions within less than 24 hours that I knew that this prayer, this seven sacred prayers was going to be outstanding. I knew it was going to be amazing. I told you, I showed you, I had to buy 5 tickets to get to New York.
That's crazy.
Because flight after flight was getting canceled out of Fort Lauderdale and Miami, right? I was in Fort Lauderdale to get to my plane. That flight's canceled. There was another one leaving out of here, canceled. I said, dang, we got to race to Miami now so I can connect and get there so I can make my flight then to LA, get to Miami, flight canceled. Finally get a flight that I can get on, right? I'm walking to the gate to go through security at Clear. And guess what? No ID, remember? I had no ID, no credit card, no nothing. I forgot everything inside of my gym bag. I'm like, oh, man. Luckily, my driver and fiance were leaving out of the airport. They were just close enough to loop around and give me one card, one of her own cards, which is linked to my account, a platinum card. I took that. I had no ID. I went through Clear. They never asked me for my ID because if you know, every so many times you go through Clear, they want your ID, right? This time I get through. I make the mission, but the thing is, all the adversity. If someone had went through that much adversity in one morning, they would have said, "Look, this ain't for me." I mean, the universe is telling me don't go. The universe is telling me don't be a part of this. The universe is telling me don't show up because it's too hard to get there. You know. I bought 5 airline tickets. You know what I'm saying? That's how important I knew this was, not only for you, Rich, but for the world.
Yeah.
And so I made it there. And I got stuck in New York on the way back from LA because then they wanted the ID because I had to go through JFK and JFK doesn't have Clear. You have to go through the regular security line. And I was like, oh man. So they made me answer like 100,000 questions about myself to get back to Florida, but I made it. But the thing is, the importance of this and what you established and what you created, what you downloaded from the quantum field to put this together, it's so dynamic that I really myself, I can't wait to watch the whole 40 minutes of this thing, because that little short clip you showed already got me emotional.
I'm gonna send it. The editor just finished today. I'm gonna send it to you and Dr. B tonight, along with everybody else. But you know what's funny?
Beautiful,
you know
man.
what? Listen, this is something. This is the third person in the chat that says the site is too busy to get a ticket. I've never seen Eventbrite crash ever. Eventbrite is a multi-million-dollar company. People are saying they can't even get to the site to get a ticket. This is why I tell everybody, listen, if you're lucky enough to get on the site and get a ticket, get your ticket right now. This is Eventbrite. This is not a regular. These people have millions upon millions of dollars. If that site is too busy to get a ticket, listen, y'all know what it's going to be, man. I advise everybody. But like I said, I'm just so proud. I'm so proud. Sister Myra. Oh, wait till y'all hear Sister Myra's whole prayer, her whole sacred prayer. Queen of Fua. Oh my God, brother, Professor Kaba, Billy Carson, Dr. B. Like I said, once again, you will get this within 24 to 48 hours of when you get the ticket. And I want you to listen to this every day or as much as possible until the actual event in October, because I guarantee you, like I said, I told my girl, word to everything, my mama, everything. And I don't say that on the show. I told my girl, I said, listen, I need people to cry. And it's not like I want people to cry out of being sad. I want to touch your heart. And in the chat, how many people cried watching that? Type in a 1. If you cried while you were watching that, type in a 1. We'll count the ones, but we're going to start the show. That was the 47-minute introduction about GodPower, Blueprint for GodPower Part 2. But we got some great things to discuss with y'all tonight, and we're going to have a great show. But that was the introduction. Look at all the ones. Come on, y'all. Divine Karma said, fuck that. I'm typing 21s. Shout out to Divine Karma. Divine Karma said, listen, what? But listen, family, I said, how many people cried? Look at all the ones. Look at all the ones. Look at all the ones. No, somebody typed it in now. Look at all the ones. One. So this is what I'm saying. But you know what? The point I'm trying to make for people to like, what does that mean? When they show us victims of police brutality, when they show us all the negative things about Black people, they're doing the same thing, but they're doing it on the opposite spectrum. They're getting our emotions, but they're getting it in a negative way. So our emotions are feeding our DNA, and our DNA is feeding the photons in a negative way. Therefore, ordering the photons create shape-shifting. We're shape-shifting photons. I said protons. I'm sorry. We're shape-shifting photons into the very thing that we don't want, because we don't understand the power of human emotions, the power of the heart, and how the heart electromagnetic field is way more powerful than the brain. They understand the science. So I see what they're doing, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to reverse that. Got the two best speakers in the world, Dr. B, Billy Carson. We're going to reprogram that heart frequency, and we're going to use that heart frequency to order those photons. And remember, hold up. I got to show you this again. Hold up. Remember I showed y'all this. Hold up. Remember I showed y'all this. Hold up. So remember I told y'all in the very beginning. I told y'all in the very beginning, the DNA is coiled up without it being combed. When you express gratitude, love, appreciation, and compassion, the DNA looks like how it looks when this female, this sister, this goddess is combing her hair out. So when the DNA is combed out, when it is spread out, when it's expanded, you have a better readout. There's more words to display. It can express itself fully. It's allow full expression of the genes that is in that segment of the DNA. So this is why we have to have these emotions, and this is why they understand why we can't have these emotions. They don't want us to have these emotions because they want our DNA coiled up like how you see a black person's hair when they don't comb it. When they comb it, it's like the afro. We got to have the afro effect. I should have called this workshop the afro effect. Listen, let's get started with the show. That's Blueprint for GodPower Part 2. Let's get started with the show. To start with, since we're talking about, since we showed the picture of here, Billy and Dr. B, I did a classic, amazing interview with rest in peace to Delbert Blair, who's a gentleman who talked about metaphysics, and he passed away a couple of years ago. And one of the things he told me, he said, there's a 1 magnesium molecule difference between human hemoglobin and plant chlorophyll. So we was talking about the melanin when he said this. So I want to show you something. So this is a leaf I got from outside. A plant, it's dead. It kind of looks like, it's a little darker than me. It's like Dr. B's complexion, Billy, more so than Dr. B and Billy's complexion, more so than my complexion. This is dead. Black people, we talk about melanin a lot. We get excited. We get hyped about melanin. Melanin, 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 melanin. Now, if this is a dead plant and it looks like Black people that are proud of melanin, what I want to ask you is, in terms of ascension, in terms of 5D, in terms of the golden age, do we have this misconception of melanin and color? And during the golden age, will we look more like a green plant looks when it's full of life than more like this plant looks when it's dead?
Interesting. That's an interesting topic to talk about, especially because it's a real sensitive topic, especially for people of color. Melanin is a powerful, powerful thing. We know that it's used in computer circuitry, computer chips. We know that it's the reason why Black people can handle more sun. It's actually not that they absorb the radiation, but that we disperse radiation. Mm-hmm. If you look at the science behind melanated skin, the more melanin you have, the darker you are. Everyone on the entire planet, by the way, has melanin, or they wouldn't have any skin.
Right.
Except for albinos, they have an extremely small amount. However, when that melanin gets hit by photons, it then disperses and spreads it out and transforms the radiation into heat and then disperses it. Whereas a person with less melanin, when those photons or sun rays hit their skin, it absorbs it through the upper, middle, and lower epidermis. And then sometimes it can even penetrate the lower epidermis and create even some nerve damage. And so this way where you can get severe burning and then, of course, skin cancer, right? And so it's pretty interesting. So melanin is a very, very powerful thing. And hey, I'm one of the very, there's a lot of us, but it's one of the few people on earth that are blessed to have melanin in my skin. And I'm proud of that. Matter of fact, I have a tan right now. I've been in the sun so much, I'm actually darker than I normally am. I love it, especially when I come back from Africa. I come back completely charred black. You can only see my teeth and my eyes. But the amazing thing is that, going into a golden age, you have to then take a little bit of a bigger perspective and look at what does that mean? Some people may not want to admit to this, but a golden age is not going to exist with one specific race of people. It's going to exist with a mixed race of people. This is just facts. When you look into the ancient texts, go back into the ancient texts and read some of these texts and read some of the descriptions of what's going on in those eras. You'll find in a global golden age, which we've had on this planet 4 times already, you'll find that by the time that happens, which is thousands of years from now, we're in the beginning of a silver age. We're in the Tetra Yuga right now. You'll find that it'll be completely blended civilization, which is why a lot of people of the white persuasion, Caucasians, obviously, the ones that are about the white power, they're nervous because they see that they literally are disappearing. It's not just a normal kind of a fear. What's really happening is they are being absorbed by the global community. It's an actual fact. It's a scientific and genetic fact. So as you move closer and closer towards a golden age, to be quite honest with you, every single person on this planet, by the time we hit a golden age, is going to have some amount of significant melanin in their skin, as they are going to become reabsorbed by all the indigenous. Some will be lighter than others, some will be darker than others, but every single person is going to be basically considered to be one race. And that's what a golden age really is all about. One love, one race, the human race, and claiming our birthright, which is peace and tranquility and heaven on earth. And so it's a thing that's an inevitable future that is going to exist because it has existed before.
Right.
As we continue to merge and mate with every single race on the planet and reabsorb them back into our own, everyone's going to be melanated.
First of all, the leaf that you held is not dead. It looks dead from our very limited perspective. When you see the scope of energy and you look at what we can perceive, it's so small. So it looks like the leaf is dead.
Right.
But if it was dead, you couldn't have been holding it.
Okay.
It's alive with a different type of energy. It's been transformed. It's going through transmutation, and it has energy built in it, which it picked up throughout the year, which now is going to go to the soil. You see, the soil needs that type of energy. One of our biggest issues right now is the soil. You want to talk about melanin? Let's talk about the soil.
Soil. Okay.
The soil is our hugest challenge because it's the topsoil is down to a few inches maybe, when it used to be maybe 30 feet tall. So those microorganisms, the mycelium, all the life force in the soil, right, is not as prevalent as it was. So the food doesn't have as much energy. So what we have to do is we have to begin to create that in our minds. Now listen to this. If you go into the garden and you sit out there and say, oh my God, it's rough, it's hot, the smoke from the Canadian fires is killing my plants, and the crows are eating up all the corn, and you have this talk and you begin to live this life. Do you know you actually affect your crop by your tone, by your frequency, and how you showed up.
Right.
You showed up as the disagreeable one, and you're a God. And you're giving commands to your environment. If you did this 1,000 years ago and you just say, oh my God, I hope the locust doesn't come and eat everything. Guess what? The locust was 1,000 miles away, and they will come find you because you called locust. But you said, I hope the locust. You see, all that hope and those words don't mean anything.
Right.
It's going to be the one with the largest charge. One of the things that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to teach for the first time in this GodPower event, is the language. There is a very specific language, and it sounds funny in English almost. It's like it sounds weird, like you're weirdo. But this language has power words. This is the language of empowerment. And even the way folks put together their meditations, their prayers, and their mantras, people bring them to me a lot. And I'm like, the reason why this doesn't work is because you're not using the proper language. There's certain trigger words. So if you say, I am not, well, you're saying I am and I'm not. You're saying both. You see what I'm saying? If you mention your desire, right? And right during your desire, you mention what you do not desire. Guess what? You call it. A lot of what's happening to us right now, we've called it. We're calling it. Just like, what do you call yourself each day? You're calling yourself out of the universe. So that leaf is very much alive. That leaf has more life than what we call life. Because it's in a stasis, it's in a very special place. And if you took a microscope and looked at it, you wouldn't see death. You see, I've seen through the electron microscopes. And when you see these things, you realize that everything is life. But speaking life, being life, living life is more important now to rebuild the soil, to charge our water, to charge our lives, to attract love, harmony, and this language, which has never been talked about this way, because English isn't English. It's on an angle. This is like a funny thing. It's a trade language that the British came up with, which got pieces of this and that. And most people don't know what the words really mean. You might know what you think they mean, but there's a root. There's a cymatic vibration that happens from certain words. Certain people, when you hear them talk, they speak this commanding language. And some people will say, well, who does he think he is? He's got a huge ego. No, he's commanding life. Instead of, when people say, who do you think you are? Well, who do you think? Who do you think you are? Most of you who are listening today think you're somebody that you're not. And you're a lot more than you ever thought you could be. And right now we're going through that where we're all being tested, whether we know it or not, becoming more than the smoke from Canada, more than the weather, becoming, more than what they told us we were, and transmuting and changing because our avatar is changing as we speak. The rhythm is happening. We're going to get into the drums too, and how drums and music and vibration all ties into this.
Oh yeah. Man, what a way to start off the start of the show. Like I said, we gave an introduction to the workshop, and we have now started the show. What I want to ask y'all now about is, I've interviewed both of you for quite some years now, Billy and Dr. B, and we've talked about affirmations in a lot of variations. And what I want to ask you about is, in terms of affirmation, I think the last thing I asked y'all about that was pretty groundbreaking was us saying we instead of I am. Say we are, because we have over 75 trillion cells, refer to yourself as we. And that was like a lot of people looked at that as groundbreaking. What I want to ask you now about affirmations moving forward into this emotional intelligence field that we are moving toward is, let me say it like this. If I have a baby in front of me, I have my son or my daughter, and I talk to it, it hears me. If I sing to it, it has an amplified effect. If I got my lady in front of me and I'm holding her and I talk to her, and let me put it in front of the camera. Let me act like she's in front of me. And I hold her and I hold my lady and I'm like, baby, I love you. That has an effect. But if I say, baby, I love you so much from the and I try to sing. Imagine if I could sing and I'm singing to her. She's like, oh, baby, oh my God, you singing to me. So if my lady responds like that and my baby, my child responds like that to my singing, how are my cells going to respond? Instead, if I'm saying affirmation, I'm singing affirmations to my cells. How will the cells respond to singing versus just speaking?
Yeah, well, that's powerful stuff, first of all, because now you're talking about shifting frequencies and vibration. And we're talking about cymatics. When we get into cymatics, we got to always talk about fractals, because we're living in a fractal holographic matrix. And, through quantum physics, we find at the very, very smallest scale in string theory, we discover that everything that exists in the universe is emanating from vibrating strings, smaller than the nucleus of an atom. Inside the atom, break the atom apart, you get to smaller particles that are massless particles like neutrinos, right? That are masses that can pass through solid objects. Well, these particular these particles, when you look inside of them at even a smaller scale on the super quantum level, you discover that they are just vibrating strings. And those vibrations create harmonies, quantum harmonies that literally emanate and jingle what we call solid matter into existence, and have created this entire universe, right? Those vibrations are imbued with divine energy. That divine energy keeps them moving and shaking and vibrating. You can never reach ultimate zero because you can't stop atoms from vibrating. You can do it in an artificial way in a laboratory, but you cannot create or get an atom to completely stop vibrating, because at the quantum field level, the power of the divine is keeping everything moving. Yes. Now you begin to scale that up and you begin to realize, wow, you're talking about singing to your wife or singing to your kid, right?
Yes.
Versus just having a conversation.
Yes.
Once you change the amplitude,
okay,
right, of
Mhm.
of the frequency,
Mhm.
then that wave is being carried in a different way to the person that you're talking to.
Mhm.
What are we doing when we're talking and singing? We're creating a cymatic frequency with our vocal box. That cymatic frequency is leaving our mouth, and it's basically it's a wave, an amplitude riding on atmosphere until it gets to the cochlea, which is the inner ear of the person that's receiving it. Now your body's receiving it as well. When they get it and you get it, both of you get an emotional feeling based on the amplitude. So again, fractals. If I've got, when I had my 1979 Buick LeSabre Deuce Deuce with my two 10s and two 12s in the back, right? If I crank it all the way up, the whole block is going to shake. We're talking about going back to the 1980s now, right? The whole block. You can hear me come from 3 blocks away. And so what is that? That's a different frequency. That's a whole nother amplitude. I'm creating a heavier vibration and people can feel it in their soul. They know Billy's coming around the corner, right? And so the same thing is happening and you're shifting that. But also the next step is you're adding conscious thought to that amplitude. You're transmitting from your own mind the emotion, you're emoting the emotion directly onto that frequency, and it's piggybacking and riding it right to the source.
Okay.
And now they're getting a double dose. They're getting the change in amplitude, plus they're getting your conscious thought combined with that. And now it's like, man, you just hit them. Boom. That's why they go crazy. That's why it's like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. It's because you've literally amped up. And that's what we're talking about. That's what this whole workshop really is about. How do we shift frequencies? Because right now, a lot of us are trying to get specific types of outcomes that we want to see in our lives, but we haven't shifted the frequency yet.
Yes.
We're on a frequency that's getting us what we have now, but to get to the next step or create the reality that you want, whatever that is, it requires a shift in amplitude. You must change the frequency. And that's why we're talking about emoting or emotion. And that's what this whole workshop, when you opened up this whole podcast tonight, that's what it was all about. It's all about the emotion. And we're going to teach you how to tap into that. It's going to be amazing.
Indeed.
I've been in music since I was a child.
Yes.
That's my root.
Yes.
That's what kept me alive. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. And it's interesting. Part of my experience with the GodPower, the 7 prayers was, it came to me that my father at 12 years old, I explained to him that I was going to do music for the rest of my life. And he was very upset. I never remembered this. This all just happened. And he had an idea of success, which had to do with, getting degrees and being a doctor, being a lawyer, being a whatever, paperwork, because that was his paradigm. And he was really upset with me when I said, I'm going to do music. And he said some things that basically said that you can't win. You're never going to win with that. It's going to be drugs. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. And I went against that. And I fought against that most of my life. But I didn't. Because my father was so powerful, right? That it stuck in me, in my diaphragm. I just found this out within the last 7 days, that this has been stuck in me, and that no matter what, I'll never be successful and I'll never win. Well, all of a sudden, Billy calls talking about, guess what? You're nominated. For what? For herbalists or whatever, natural health, whatever the department is. I'm like, all the herbalists out there, all the people who speak, why me? Well, Dr. B, just get yourself together. You got to be here. Now, remember, just keep this in mind. A lot of us have winner's remorse. We stop ourselves from winning so we won't leave people behind. We don't want to make people feel bad. Sometimes we don't know what we're going to do with all that money. So we'll keep playing ourselves down. And I realized just this week that I've always played myself down. It's always been about the people. It's never been about Dr. B. And something hit. We're going to talk about, we have to have a whole show about this, about what just came about, how the rhythm in the drum, the pitch, in the vibration of my father's voice, because my father had a very, he had this voice. He would speak up and down, and oh, you gotta be done, and you're gonna do what? Oh, not in this house. That tone, that rhythm was in me. When you realize that how you speak to someone and how you speak, the cadence has a lot to do with how it vibrates those strings. Because see, in string theory, when they noticed those strings, there was a wind that blew across those strings, and the strings have these sympathetic vibrations. This is the smallest things they know of. This whole thing is music. It's an orchestra. But how you emit and emote your music is very important, because, when you go to college, you're supposed to talk a certain way. You have this blend, and you talk because you went to college, see, it's no tone. It's no melody. Because there's no melody, right? Now, all of a sudden, you're vibrating the environment differently. So just think, even today, suddenly in the last few years, it's been all about the auto pitch on the vocals. Everybody's got to have auto pitch on their vocals. You can't be natural, because it's about being fake, because we're in a place now where it's about being fake. You fake hair, fake body, fake personality, fake everything, fake drugs, fake food, fake. It's just fake. The more fake you are, the more real you are, like in this world. So you auto pitch because, I couldn't sing. So let me act like I can sing and get this machine to dial in and take out the real melody. Once you begin to take out the real melody, then all of a sudden you don't have the rhythm. You don't have the pitch. You don't have the amplitude. You don't have the rhythm. The soul begins to get sucked out of it. Once the soul is out of it, it's flat. It's a flatliner. And now you're playing the music along with it. And most of the music today is loops. In the mainstream, not in the underground. There's a lot of good music going on, but when you start having everything be a loop, the news is a loop. Everything is exactly the same. Almost all the people that you talk to in the natural health world, whether it's quantum physics or whatever, it's almost all the same stuff. I'm telling you, most of the stuff that you're actually hearing is not the actual facts. Those are the facts that came through those particular people. As an herbalist, I have found some herbs that people never even thought were herbs. I use some things in my formulations that people never used before. Dr. B, that's not an herb. Well, who is deciding what an herb is? Because almost all the herbs out there, right? They've been cataloged by a certain group of people. If those people can't see the soul, they don't have enough melanin, if they don't have enough coloring in their eyes, if they have a thing where it's about the money, and let's just get down to the active constituent of the herb, all of a sudden now you get rid of the rhythm of the tribe and the grandmothers and all those people who use that medicine. And they just didn't use the medicine. They used a dance, a sound. They had a whole ritual that went with it. So now we just think, well, olive leaf does this. Olive leaf doesn't do that. You have to first get to which olive leaf did they study? The olive leaf in North Africa, in Morocco. That's the olive leaf that does that because of the drums and the rhythms and the 6/8 rhythm. So when we begin to speak with melody, and we're going to learn this in this workshop, how to speak and have tone and have pitch up and down and have a rhythm and play the song. You got to play the song. You got to have rhythm. You got to get back into your personality and get out of this. I'm very intelligent, so I act like I have no lips and I'm not from any one place. And back to you, Jim. Back to you. That's auto pitch. That's auto tune. Auto tune. You begin to program. You begin to program your DNA that I'm a flatliner and I'm just a sheep on a farm.
Wow,
man.
Let me ask you this. So we talk about self-talk and the importance of self-talk, and how powerful saying affirmations is once again, and talking to yourself. And we know that cells can hear you. Your cells can hear what you're saying. But one of the things that we don't talk about, a lot of people don't talk about, but a lot of people don't talk about, they don't talk about the microbiome. And as far as, a lot of these organisms within you, they may not be for you. They may be parasites. They may be looking to steal your energy. They may be looking to do things that are not beneficial to you. If I'm about to make a move on somebody and we're at war with each other, I'm not going to broadcast my moves to that person before I make my move. I'm not going to say, if I'm at war with Dr. B, I'm not going to say, hey, I'm going to go to Atlanta, then I'm going to take a ticket to New York. When I get to New York, I'm going to go to Whole Foods. I'm going to re-up on some, I'm not going to do all of that. Basically, what I'm saying is, And that's the ops. You're not going to tell the ops your moves in real life. We call them ops, opposition. That's the street term, ops, opposition. You have internal ops. Do you think that giving yourself positive self-talk, I am great, you giving the internal ops, what you telling them what you going to do? You tell them, I will lose weight. The ops is like, oh yeah, nigga, you going to lose weight? I'm going to see about that. You going to lose weight? I'm going to see. So do you think, because we have not only external ops, but we have internal ops, do you think that maybe we should move more like chess when it comes to our self-talk and not be blatant about, I am going to lose weight? That, yeah, I'm a little overweight. Maybe we should, like, play chess with our internal ops until we do what we do. We make the move and they're like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming. Where did he come up with that move? It's just a thought. It's just an observation. I would like to know your opinion. This brother Rich thought observation. Go ahead. Go ahead, my brother.
You really animated, Rich.
Yeah, go ahead.
I love it, though. I love it.
Yes.
It gets tricky how you do your self-talk, and you almost have to use a little bit of applied neuroscience on yourself.
Okay.
You have to understand how to separate yourself from your thoughts, separate yourself from your own actions. Right? That's the biggest part of it, first of all, because until you separate yourself from your thoughts, you will be a victim of your own thoughts.
Yes.
And you'll be a victim of your self-talk.
Yes.
So I tell people all the time, if you see me talking to myself, don't interrupt me. I'm getting expert advice. But also, while I'm talking to myself, I've separated myself from my conscious thoughts and I observe my thoughts. You're not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And when you can make that separation and see how you're responding to stimulus, see how you're emoting and what your emotions are, see what your triggers are, see how you're responding to situations around you, see how you're self-sabotaging yourself, see how you're self-doubting yourself, see how you're holding yourself back, see how you're procrastinating about everything that's going on that you're supposed to be getting done. When you can observe it from your higher self and look at it, oh yeah, see what I'm doing? I can see that. And once you can identify and bring awareness that it's you that's the problem, not anybody else, anybody else, it's you. Go look in the mirror, put your phone on selfie mode, take a picture. You're the downfall of your own self. And then realize, okay, I see now. It is me. Admitting. The first step is admitting that you are part of the problem. If any alcoholic, any drug addict, they can't move forward, any type of rehabilitation, until they first admit that they have a problem. Until you admit that you are part of the problem that's holding you in the position and place where you are, that's not achieving your goals, your dreams, and your hopes and everything else that you're looking to do, it's because it's you, yourself, holding you back, and you have literally allowed yourself to succumb to your own thoughts instead of separating from those thoughts and observing them from a higher self. And then what do? You reprogram your thoughts. You can hack into your own consciousness because you're not here. You're not local. Billy's not local. Dr. B's not local. Rich is not local. We're all, including everybody watching, we're all in a higher dimension. We are a beam of light coming in on an angle, angels, that's inhabiting this avatar body for a temporal, that means time, a very small temporal amount of time, very, very small. And during this process, during this time that we've been blessed with, it's a proving ground. How can you become an ascended master within these 87 to 99 years? Can you do it? Oh, we'll come back and try again. Can you do it this time? Come back and try again. Can you do it this time? You see, it's a part of the process. Realizing and understanding the reason why you're not achieving your weight loss goals and your fitness goals and any other goal you set for yourself is because it's you, and you have literally become your thoughts. Separate yourself from your thoughts and realize and learn that you are the observer of the thoughts, and you can control your thoughts by changing them, by hacking them and reprogramming them. And that's what we're going to be teaching in the workshop. It's going to be a powerful, powerful, powerful day. I'm going to teach you in this workshop how to tap into your doppelganger from the multiverse, one that's doing everything right. because there's a version of you living the life that you want to live right now.
Yo, Billy, hold on. Billy, you know, that's one of the most advanced meditation techniques that I've seen on the internet. Some people are scared of it, but there's a name, there's different names for it. One of the names is quantum jumping. And they're saying there's a version of you that exists that has everything you want. So say I want to be a piano player or a guitar player. There's a version of me that exists in the multiverse that already has that. During this meditation, I can meet that doppelganger version of myself, get what I have to get from it, and bring it back to this dimension. How the hell are you going to teach that, Billy? Billy, I can't wait.
It's going to be a fully guided meditation
for that part. What you said it's going to be what?
Fully guided. It's a fully guided multiverse meditation in the quantum field. Fully guided. It's me live during the workshop, a fully guided multiverse meditation. And I did something very similar at Dame Dash Studios about 3 years ago in Burbank, California, live with 300 people in the audience. And when we came out of the meditation, people were running around the place, running around the studio, going crazy. Oh my God, I just came out of the sun. Oh my God.
They was literally running around, Billy, like they was literally doing that, or you exaggerating?
After I got done, after we ended the meditation, people were blown away. That's where I first met 19 Keys. 19 Keys was a student.
With Blue Pill. He with Blue Pill. He came to
with Blue Pill. Exactly. That's where I first met 19 Keys. He wasn't really, he was just beginning. He was, the guy went out there. I give my hat off to him. He went out there to go get the knowledge.
Yeah.
And, he spurred off after that Egyptian Mystery School, which is what I was hosting. It was a huge event, a live event, but he was there. And this meditation, I'm telling you how it's incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. See, everything in the universe, if you go to, again, quantum mechanics and quantum physics, you have to understand that everything exists in superpositions.
What does that mean?
Superpositions. That means that unlimited outcomes exist all simultaneously.
Okay.
Right? And so we know this because of wave particle duality. We know this through the double slit experiment. This has been proven, redone science, peer-reviewed science these experiments have been redone over and over and over again all over the world. So it's nothing, what I'm telling you right now isn't some off the dome psychobabble that I'm trying to sell you guys a ticket. This is peer-reviewed, real science taught in universities. And so we know this is an actual fact that everything exists as a superposition, a future of quantum potentials that we collapse into our reality tunnel through conscious observation. So it's all about understanding the quantum realm. And if you study or just look up quantum walkers, I have a movie coming out called Quantum Walkers. But if you look up the quantum physical term, quantum walkers, you'll find that even your conscious thoughts phase in and out of this dimension and go to higher dimensions and even into the multiverse and then come back. Real science, not fabricated science. It's how do you harness that? How do you tap into that? Well, it's a two-part thing that we're going to focus on to get you into that state of mind. We're going to first go into the hemisync frequencies, and we're going to synchronize the hemispheres of the brain, the left and right hemisphere, and we're going to focus a beam of energy and create a portal, and we're going to go into the multiverse meditation. This is stuff that you can't get on YouTube. You can't get this on ChatGPT. You can't get this on. You can't get it on Twitter and all. You got to come to this workshop because you're not going to get this anywhere else.
Billy, I have to ask you this. Give us a second, Doug. I got to ask you this. Now, you're teaching. Now, this is, like I said, this is one of the most advanced forms of meditations that I've heard about on the internet. And you're teaching it in this workshop, this multiverse, meeting your doppelganger. I want to ask you, Billy, so you have met your doppelganger during meditation who has had what you're like, how does that work? You got to explain this. Give me.
And this is why I'm making that movie.
That's why
that whole experience inspired me to the movie, to make this movie. So the meditation that I was doing was this multiverse meditation where I literally ended up, I phase shifted into that reality. It was the same Earth, right? In the same solar system.
Yeah.
And literally
Yeah.
The difference between technology was mind-blowing. The earth that I was on then transformed into as if it took Nikola Tesla's timeline and information and knowledge
instead of
technology.
Einstein's timeline.
Right.
Oh, shit.
So this timeline that I was on was so advanced. It was far, far advanced. Same exact planet, same year. And what happened was I was there working on this amazing technology with a Jed pillar and an Ankh and putting them together to create a key to a Stargate. So I gained some incredible knowledge and wisdom there. And that experience inspired me literally to get more into this type of meditation and to teach it now. So this is my first time actually teaching it to this highest level. We didn't have enough time. We only had 30 minutes out of the 6 hours at the Dame Dash Studios, and that was mind-blowing itself. But to get to this one, the one we're going to do in this workshop, you're going to see comments that are going to blow you away. You're going to see results that people are going to have coming back 1 week, 1 month, 2 days, a year from now. They're going to have so many results coming back from this. It's going to be a life-changing event, okay? A life-changing event. It's a LCE is what I call it. And so these are big events because these are markers in the ether of time-space where you can look back and you can say, wow, at this particular point is when everything shifted, where the fork in the road came from me and my spirit went this way instead of that way and led me to the heaven on earth that I've been seeking and looking for. And I'm telling you, and Rich, you can attest to this, I literally walk with power and I feel that everything I touch turns to gold, literally. But see, I expect it to become gold before I touch it because I see it before I even see it. I believe in the end before the end, and I believe in the beginning before the beginning even happens.
Yes.
But that's a mindset. It takes training and understanding and knowledge and wisdom and confidence to walk like that. When I walk into a room, I expect everyone to take notice that I'm in this room and to feel my energy. And if they're feeling down, low, frustrated, sad, or even angry, I expect my energy field to lift them up and take them up. I expect my conscious thoughts to even alter their thought patterns because you can actually hack into somebody else's mind through conscious thought. One more thing before we go to Dr. B. Real science experiment. They took two people and put two different rooms in one laboratory. One guy was blindfolded. He's got the remote control to the video game. The other guy's looking at the video game with no remote control. Scientists were able to make a conscious hack link between the minds, and the guy looking at the screen with no remote was able to control the hands of the guy with the remote and play the video game. You see? So what I'm teaching you guys isn't science fiction. It's science reality and science fact.
Billy, wow. Let me let Dr. B chime in because I don't know. Wow.
When I was 14 years old.
Wow.
I used to go to a park where there were drummers, 50, 60, 70 drummers on the weekend. All playing wanted to play different percussion instruments, some were learning. And there was a man who came from the continent who spoke very little English. He could take one drum, right, that he made himself and get 142 sounds. So the average drum, you can get 5, 6, 7 sounds. He could get 142 sounds. And he was the master. And every weekend we'd learn these rhythms. He'd come around and tell each person exactly what to play. Now, this is 14 years old. And you had to stay at this rhythm till you got into this special place within yourself, outside of yourself. And you had to be able to observe yourself in the circle, but outside of the circle. The rhythms would take us into a trance state where you couldn't even hear the drums around you anymore. You just hear this droning sound. And I remember this one particular day where this family brought this lady who had cancer. And they said she had a very short time to live. She was very small, very thin. And they laid her on the ground on the sheet. And the chief said, we're going to play for her to live. Right now, of course, now the lady, she's on the way out. I mean, you could tell. So we all began to play. And he gave us all these specific rhythms to play. And I remember the rhythm that I had to play. Goom, ging, ging, goom, goom. Goom, ging, ging, goom, goom. Goom, ging, ging, goom, goom. You can't change anything. You got to stay right there. You got to get out of your own head because your own mind will take you into this drifty place and you won't stay on that rhythm to create this vibration. After playing for about an hour, and you're supposed to play with your eyes closed. Now, me, always gotta keep an eye open. I want to see what's going on. I opened my eyes, and the lady, she's laying, she'd have this cloth over her. She's levitating. She levitates about a foot off the ground in the park on a Saturday afternoon. 120 drummers were out. Blew my mind.
Wow.
When she levitated off the ground, she was shaking. I stopped playing, and then the master looks at you. You're not supposed to stop. And I asked him, can I bow out? And I run off crying. I grab my drum. I'm 14. I don't want to play no more. I don't want to do this because, see, I come from the church world. And this has got to be voodoo. This has got to be the devil. This has got to be bad. 2 weeks later, it's on the news that a lady who was dying from cancer, they had a picture on the news that she had a spontaneous healing and no longer had cancer. You see, we know so little about what can happen. Our egos are pumped up with all this stuff, but we are a lot of times the saboteur in our own corporation. Your body is a corporation. You're supposed to be the CEO. You're supposed to be able to see things before they happen. You're supposed to be able to create in your mindset. You got to see things, right? You have to be a precog. You have to do precognition. You got to know before it happens that it's going to happen just the way it's going to happen. It's your job as the CEO to do that. But what happens is when you go through certain types of trauma and drama or testing, right? The security guard, right, that you hired to help, to keep guard over the corporation takes over. Once the security guard takes over, you become insecure because you're always worried about a problem is going to happen. It's going to, oh my God, if there's this type of healing, it's got to be the devil. It's got to be evil. The person was all of a sudden no longer had this disease. It's got to be the devil. Because, man can't do that. Woman can't do that. We don't have that power. But we are the power. The God power is in us. Once we realize that there's another person that you need in your corporation to keep it balanced, it's the manager. The manager's job is to look for opportunity. If the manager is totally looking for opportunity, they're not looking for problems. A good manager is looking for opportunities. The security guard's job is to look for that. But the security guard has become insecure. It can't see the cure anymore. Because you're worried about a problem. Something's going to happen because it happened before. It's happened before. It's going to keep on happening because somebody told you that history repeats itself. History has never repeated itself. Somebody told you that your genes are running the show. Your genes are not telling your body what to do. That is you. Maybe 1%. The number starts getting smaller. Of your genes are actually, right, running what you call the show. Your hair, your talk, maybe the way you look. There's 99% of your DNA is a wide open palette. You get to be the artist, but you've got to look at managing it. You've got to look for opportunities and get out of your head. Now that saboteur is going to keep stopping you. The saboteur told me to get up off those drums and leave. And I left. And I saw the master drummer about 2 months later. And he told me he understood why he left. And he spoke very broken English. He says, you are not a normal human being. And you're never going to be. And there's something big you're going to do. And I'm going to teach you this one thing. And you are to never teach it to anyone for at least 50 years. And he sat on the curb next to my little Volkswagen, right? I was driving before I was old enough. But he sat there and he played this rhythm on the rim of the hood of my car. And he said, this was a magic rhythm. It opens up vortexes to other spaces. When you play it, you're not going to be you anymore. You're going to be taken out into the universe. And it's going to change anything that can hear it. Anytime you play this to create destiny. Never teach it or play it for 50 years to anyone. Just use it. Use it to get where you've got to get so you can help the people. Guess what? I now am able to play the rhythm. I'm now able to teach it. I'm going to teach it in the GodPower event.
You going to teach it?
I'm going to teach it.
You ain't tell me that.
That's a lot of things I didn't
You ain't tell me that.
That's a lot
Why
of things.
you ain't tell me that, man?
I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
Come on, you have to tell Brother Rich. Why you ain't
because it's all coming to me. It's happening now. What's happening now has never happened before.
Shit.
What's happening now has never happened.
You adding that?
And when you play this, there's a special thing that you do.
Yes.
You
Yes.
see, there's a whole thing, man, sitting around the campfire. Remember sitting around the campfire?
Yeah.
You know, that's some deep stuff. Do you know
Yes.
what's happening when you're sitting down looking at a campfire and listening to that crackling? Your telomeres, your DNA is being reprogrammed when you're looking down at fire.
And it's crackling.
And it's crackling. It takes you. You could sit there all night and watch it, even when it's just a few embers. What you're being taken out of all your stuff into another realm. There's these realms, there's these beings, there's the fire beings, there's so many different things that are going on that we have an issue perceiving until we get into a trance state.
Yeah.
When you get in a certain trance state, it opens up.
Yes.
So some of the things we're going to talk about and do, we can't tell you. I mean, you know, we sat and talked and we got a list of things we're going to go over. It's getting deeper than that because it got deeper in the last 2 weeks and the last 3 weeks.
It keeps getting
everything
deeper,
is changing at this particular time. I'm going down to hang out with Billy at this awards thing. I don't go to awards. You know how many times I've been nominated for Grammys and all these? I don't go. Why? Because there was a program in my head said, you don't win because you ain't winning the way your father said to win. It all has been coming to me that now we all have to win, but we got to figure out what winning means.
Yes.
Winning may not mean the same as to everybody else.
Yes.
So I'm breaking through a personal paradigm that I've always had. But Dr. B, you know, you should be such and such by now. And you could have been, you could have had 5 record companies and you could have, they always talk about what you could have did. But there was a suppression, there was a rhythm. There was something inside of me that I couldn't share to a certain time because see, I've taken oaths in many tribes. One of the tribes that I'm a part of, the Yamasee tribe, which is my family, you know, there's oaths that you take as the medicine man. You can't just be out teaching this stuff. You know, not everybody's out teaching everything on the internet. And it's all on YouTube. And this is the sacred knowledge. I can tell you it ain't the sacred knowledge. If you on YouTube talking about it, you can't do it because it'll shut you down. Like when I look in Billy's eyes, when Billy and I are talking, there is a language happening that is not spoken. We don't really talk all that much. In fact, it's almost like we can't talk too much. It's almost like something's happening. It's because we're connected in this way that, you know, it's not spoken. There's no words for it. We just conduct ourselves and do what we need to do. And we got each other's backs no matter what. When I'm dealing with you, Brother Rich, there's a rhythm. There's a thing that's happening all the time. In fact, you know, when you were on my show, right? We didn't talk about that. But, you know, when you went into that whole zone about music and vibration, music is what holds this whole thing out together. And what's being sucked out of the world is music. They're sucking the art out of people. They're sucking the creative. You don't have handwriting anymore. People don't even know how to handwrite. Cursive.
They don't even have cursive.
Do you know how important that is? That is like kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. Yes. You want to really, really get something deep. You make it kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. Now they just got you pushing buttons that really don't mean nothing. The thing here is we're creating melody, we're creating rhythm, and there's things that have never been talked about that are going to be talked about, that are going to be shared. And the rhythm of life is coming through all of us right now. So what's happening has never happened before. And I'm really glad to be here. I'm glad to know both of you and to be a part of this because now it's time to totally express. 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 Do the thing. Do your very best and do it now.
Somebody asked in the chat, what city is the event in? The event is virtual. Anybody anywhere in the world can sign up. You can purchase your ticket anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter where you're at. So I want to make that clear. This is a virtual event. Anybody in the world can sign up for the event. And you will get the link, you will get the ticket, you will get all the bonuses that's included in the ticket price. So yeah, anybody in the world, you can sign up. I advise you to sign up. We got about 3,500 people in the chat right now. So what I want to do, Billy's giving out tickets. He has some tickets he's giving out to the award show July 30th. So before we do that, I want to remind the people. And I want to give y'all a sneak peek once again for those who are just tuning into the channel. We have the workshop coming up in October. Blueprint for GodPower Part 2. It's an emotional roller coaster ride. It's gonna release the trauma. It's gonna allow you to tap into your divine self. It is an emotional intelligence experience. It's amazing. It's something like you never felt before, and we designed it that way purposely. We have so many things going on. Billy and Dr. B will be talking for 8 hours. Besides that, we have bonus content. The bonus content we have, whenever you sign up, whenever you decide to buy a ticket, within 24 to 48 hours, you will get a link to, it's sort of like a mini documentary. It's called The 7 Sacred Prayers, and it's the master teachers of today showing you how they commune with God, how they commune with their higher self. And it's absolutely inspiring. I watch it every morning. It's part of my morning routine. It's part of my morning ritual. I take my son to where he has to go, and while I'm taking him, I'm listening to it, and I'm listening to it after I drop him off, and it's absolutely inspiring. So I want to give everybody who's just tuning in now, before we continue with the second half or the last half of the show, a sneak peek of what you get. And the link is in the description, and it's also pinned at the top of the chat. But I want to give you a sneak peek of what you get when you buy a ticket, because not only do you get the workshop coming in October, but you get this email to you within 24 to 48 hours. Nobody's giving you this. This is unheard of. I, Brother Rich, am extremely proud of this. I executive produce this. This is like my crowning accomplishment when it comes to consciousness. I'm sorry. And I'm extremely proud. Let me see. Hold up. Yeah, I'm as y'all can see, I'm very, very, very proud of this right here. Let's see. Okay.
What's going on, loved one? Oh, this right here healthy. This is a
I'm a
special
fast
segment,
forward.
man.
And solve these issues. I'm asking God and commanding this energy into my life that will allow me to continue to generate abundance for generations of my family. My goal on a daily basis is how can I fix the problems of future generations with regards to abundance mindsets. And that knowledge can only come from the all. All is mind. And I'm seeking that energy. I'm seeking the wisdom, understanding of how that energy works so that I can utilize it in my life. And I'm asking and commanding that I gain that knowledge and that wisdom. Guide my path. Guide.
It was thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just say thank you. I say thank you. I say thank you. We say thank you. When you say thank you, it doesn't become conscious. It's subconscious, because you're not pointing at any one thing to be thankful for. You are being thankful for everything, for the all. The next thing I do is give myself permission, without thinking of the validation of others, not asking others what they think about what I am creating in each moment. Sirius.
Creators on earth.
Not be seized by my arm.
Build on and
Earthly food item, primordial waters, all cosmic and blood relation, I welcome you. I summon you in this invocation. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, your sweat watered the earthly food.
Powerful. Whew. Chills. Chills, man.
Can't hear you, brother.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I can't believe that went down, that happened. I can't believe all the elders came through that day. And it's absolutely amazing. It's an emotional ride. It's an emotional experience. It will I'm guaranteed it will change your life. And what's so wonderful is that this is not even a workshop. This is just the bonus content. And it's absolutely heart transforming. And it's to get you in the right mode for what Dr. B and Billy Carson has to teach you in October. So this is something I want you to watch over and over if you buy the ticket, and let it seep into your subconscious. This is emotional, so it's going to get to you. Everybody said they cried. I have a whole chat room that said they cried when they seen this, and that was my whole goal. And it's not a cry out of sad or being angry. We all have things we have to release. So I just want to thank you for being honest, being transparent, and I'm thankful to produce that. But everybody who signs up will get that within 24 to 48 hours. And like I said, we have so much for y'all. We have a meditation album. We have the actual workshop. Billy and Dr. B is going in. But what I want to do right now, Billy is giving out free tickets for the workshop. I mean, for the award show, the award show. So, Billy, explain what's going on with that.
Well, we have a sponsor that bought some tickets to give away for the award show.
Yes.
And so I thought, you have a lot of great loyal fans that have been following your account for a very, very long time.
Yes.
They've been amazing to us and to myself. They've accepted me into the family, and I appreciate that. So I could have given these away on my own channel, but I decided, since we're on here tonight, we can give these away on your channel to people that have been supporting you. And, you have probably one of the highest engagements per follower basis on the internet, on YouTube. Extremely incredible people that have subscribed to your channel. So it's 20 tickets to get into the event. Just so that the cheapest ticket at the event is $99 and up to $5,000. So you're looking at a very high quality, high class, the black tie affair. I don't want to get too diverted off the talk tonight, but 20 people will get, each one will get one ticket. You have to prove that you have an itinerary to travel to this event, to be there, or that you already live in Florida. And you can do this by emailing business@forbiddenknowledge.com, and I'll just type it in the chat. And that's all you have to do. But you'll have to prove that you're going to be able to arrive there. So that's only right? It's not to get these tickets and then not actually show up, because the sponsor just wants to see people there. The sponsor is very involved in conscious community, a very, very big name person, it's a famous celebrity who will actually be at the event. I can't name the person's name until you get there. Then you'll see them in person. There's actually quite a few amazing big celebrities coming to this event. I mean, big, huge names, but I can't name them until you show up and you'll see them there. But again, just email your information that you're interested in the free ticket. Probably more than 20 people will send an email back. 20 people will be picked. The first 20 people that actually send, everyone will be requested to send their itinerary. The first 20 that get their itinerary in will be able to actually get those tickets. But that's it. We can move on with the show.
All right. So moving on, Billy, I want to ask you this. This question is specifically for Billy Carson. Aspect of the workshop that you're going to be dealing with is how to read energy fields. And what makes that so important, and I'm so happy you're talking about that, Billy, is that every organism on Earth knows how to read an energy field in order for it to survive. That's how it survives. It reads the energy field. It understands what's going on around it, and then it decides how it's going to survive. Humans, man, because of whatever intellect and free will, man, listen, the hurricanes coming, dangers coming, we still there. We getting high. We watch a TV. We all fucked up. We just in complete darkness about any danger around us. And it's not just that. It could be danger in terms of bad business deals. It could be danger in terms of bad relationships. It could be danger in terms of bad things with our family. We don't know how to read the energy field, and that harms a lot of us, whether we want to admit it or not. So I'm glad you're talking about this in the workshop, Billy. But what I want to ask you is that, how do you know? I'm Brother Rich. I'm pretty sharp. I'm good with the information. I still got my weaknesses and my biases. And one of the things that I noticed in 2022 was an absolutely magnificent year for me. Absolutely magnificent. In the very beginning of 2022, a white female, she looked like Kim Kardashian. I said this story a lot of time, so a lot of the people on my channel heard the story. White looking female or European looking female. I was at the New Life Expo in New York. She told me some information about what I needed to do for 2022, and I disregarded her. The first thing I thought about was Kim K, and I'm like, she had that gypsy look to her. So I disregarded her. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. She's like, I'm like, man, bitch, you ain't psych. Get the fuck out of my face. That's what I'm saying to her. I'm like, man, you ain't psych. Get fuck out my face. You ain't psychic. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying in my mind. But her words turned out to be right and exact that whole year. And it taught me a lesson. It taught me a valuable lesson about reading energy and just about discriminating and just about race and all types of stuff it taught me about. So what I want to ask you is, Billy, how do you distinguish bad vibes? Because we say we're spiritual, we know how to read vibes. How do we, since you're talking about this, how do we distinguish bad vibes from just being just discriminate against somebody or being racist or being prejudiced against somebody? Because we think, oh, yeah, I'm spiritual. That person is giving me bad vibes. But maybe it's just you. Maybe that person isn't giving you bad vibes. Maybe it's your vibes that you're feeling. Maybe it's not that person. So talk to me about how do we decide between those two, Billy? I love that part of this workshop. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, what we see in someone else is just a reflection of ourselves, number one. So a lot of the times what we're seeing in someone or what we're getting frustrated or angry about or hating about them or whatever is actually just a reflection of ourselves. Like the ancient Mayans used to say, in lakek alakin, I am another you. That's what that means. And so we're seeing reflections of ourselves in everyone because we are everyone.
Yes.
And everyone is us.
Yes.
And so we have to remember that, always remember that. And when you open up your mind to understand that your main purpose is to learn from everyone in every circumstance.
Yes.
And when someone walks up to you, the first thing that wants to happen is our own internal system wants to kick in and begin to judge. That's the first thing that happens. We're gonna judge a book by its cover. That's what your thoughts want to do. That's the default programming code, is to judge a book by its cover.
Okay.
That's when I said before, how do you separate your thoughts from yourself? How do you separate from your thoughts and become the observer of them? And then recognize what you're about to do before you actually do it.
Right.
A genius solves problems before they happen. Before they happen.
Okay. Before they happen.
So you have to begin now to solve things in your life. Now, once you've separated yourself, now open yourself up to listen to the information or begin to look at people's body language, begin to understand the eye contact, begin to understand how they're speaking, what tone, how high, how low, how energetic, how non-energetic. And then you could begin to open up your heart chakra to tap into their heart chakra energy field. We know scientifically that every single person has a field that generates between out 8 to 10 feet, sometimes as much as 25, 30 feet away from the body.
Yes.
It's an electromagnetic biofield. And it actually carries hormones out of your body like cortisol, oxytocin, progesterone, all these different hormones ride up on that magnetic field and out into the torus energy field around your own body. What's interesting is when you get close enough to someone else's field, their hormones, this is the biggest part about understanding fields. Their hormones are now intersecting with your magnetic field, riding down that field directly back into your body and affecting the hormone balance in your own body.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So why can't we read energetic fields from people? It's simply because of this. We have been disconnected from recognizing the changes in our hormone balances on a real-time basis. That's what it is. It's not magic. If somebody was looking for a magical, understanding or example, it's all about understanding the balance of the hormones in your body. I'm going to go deep into the hormone balance and imbalance and what they do and how to tell when you're imbalanced and how to feel that imbalance, how to sense that imbalance, how to sense when someone else has hormones like cortisol that just because you're in their presence is spiking your cortisol, creating a level of anxiety and anxiousness and putting you into fight or flight mode.
And
that's what it's going to be about. This is some deep stuff. Like I said, you can't find this stuff on YouTube.
So from their cortisol to your cortisol?
Yes. Damn. Yes. And let me tell you something. What I'm talking about now if you take the same class that anybody can go take these same classes that I took at MIT for applied neuroscience, they're going to teach you some of these same exact things right there at the school. So what I'm teaching you is not fabricated off the top of my dome and all this other kind of stuff. You can go register for the classes I took and pay the fee and go sit in the class. And guess what? You're going to see all these science experiments. You're going to get the same information. But you got to pay thousands of dollars for that. This class don't cost thousands of dollars.
Wow.
It's going to be powerful, man. I can't wait. This is going to be one of the most amazing, dynamic workshops that I've ever been a part of. I'm really excited for this because so much of this has been untaught and untold, and a lot of it has been secreted and kept and hidden away by myself and also Dr. B, because we've been waiting for the right time.
Right.
See, if when you read the Emerald Tablets, right? Thoth says the highest knowledge is unutterable. The highest knowledge is unutterable. And he even himself had secreted away knowledge, hidden chambers in the Great Pyramid, which were just discovered about 4 years ago above the Grand Gallery leading to the King's Chamber. Hidden chambers underneath the Sphinx with more knowledge in it. Another hidden record is hidden at the Temple of Hermes in Egypt. Why? Because the knowledge, there's a time. These are time capsules. We're giving you a time capsule of knowledge. Knowledge that is ancient and has been waiting around for eons for mankind to be able to even digest it and discern it and then act on it. Getting knowledge means absolutely nothing. I could have taught this stuff 10 years ago when people were afraid to say the word UFO in public. What would have been the outcome? The outcome would have been a waste. They would have heard me and taken it into their mind. But guess what? Just having the knowledge means nothing. You have to know how to apply knowledge. Once you learn how to apply knowledge, then you have power. Because knowledge, like I say all the time, knowledge is not power. Only the application of knowledge is actually power.
Right.
But people can only begin to apply knowledge when they're ready to receive it and act on it. We're in a time and an era right now. We've reached a pinnacle right now, heading into this age of Aquarius, where people's minds are opening up like never before. And the people are ready to receive the knowledge, but they're also more than ever ready to act on it. People have been receiving knowledge for eons and eons and eons, but very few people have been able to act on it or had the will to act on it. Finally, we're at a place right now in this short breath of humanity that people are ready to act on the knowledge. And that's what we're going to be doing. Actionable steps, things that you can interactively do, learning how to apply the knowledge into your life, but stuff that has been secreted and kept away by myself and Dr. B for a very, very long time. Before I end this, let me just tell you this quick thing. Years ago,
take your time.
Years and years ago, long before the internet existed, I used to go to the bookstore literally probably 3 times a week. I used to live in the bookstore or the library. And I had read this Hopi prophecy.
Yes.
And this Hopi prophecy was that one day the world will be connected by a world wide web, and that information will travel to and fro instantaneously. And when I read that, I literally jumped for joy in the bookstore. People were looking at me like I was crazy. But why was I doing that? Because I knew if I can stay alive until that day that web arrives, that what I have in here is going to spread around this entire planet. And that day came in 1997. I saw a commercial on TV. All it said was IBM.com, a fully black background with white letters. I said, that's the commercial? What is that? I went to the bookstore. I said, hey, have you heard of this .com? This IBM commercial keeps coming on. That's all it says, IBM.com, and it disappears. Oh, they're talking about the World Wide Web. I said, what? Where are the books? She sent me to the book section, HTML. I learned HTML, PHP, ASP, Java, and C+, all by reading at the bookstore, studying at the bookstore, and duplicating it at my house on my computer. Started my very first company, .com marketing group, with internet marketing, and built that into a multi-million-dollar corporation. But the point is, I knew This is 1997 that I knew when I heard that, now is the time. I began building this whole thing from back then, and then dripping slow amounts, just drip, drip, drip of knowledge along the way, building up to this point. And there's so much more. I've only given out less than 1% of the information that I have in my head. Less than 1/10% has been given out. There's so much more. But we've gotten to the point now where there is something that can be released. Just like there were 2 tablets in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth that were held back for almost 200 years and were just recently released to the general public. But you can only get information in divine time. Everything only happens in divine time. And right now it's the divine time for me to release some of this information that I've been holding back, that I've been sitting on, because quite frankly, the people weren't ready. I would do tests. I would do social tests, social experiments on social media, and I would drop certain things that kind of pertain to things we may be talking about years ago, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Yes.
The people weren't ready. Completely over their head. Weren't ready. So this is the time.
Wow.
They ready now.
I want to ask y'all something. Dr. B, Billy Carson, I want to ask you, and I'm so excited. I'm like extremely excited. Like I said, I think this is the best thing I've ever put together in my entire life. And I'm not ashamed. You know, some people are ashamed and some people are scared, not ashamed. Some people are scared to say that because they're scared of what the result will be. I'm not scared to say this workshop is the greatest thing that I've put together inside. We look for this feeling inside. We look to become millionaires, but we only look to become millionaires because we think it's going to create a feeling inside. And if we don't get that feeling inside, then us being millionaires isn't fulfilling. What I want to say is that me putting together the blueprint for GodPower Part 2 is giving me a feeling beyond becoming a trillionaire, a zillionaire. It's giving me a feeling that only the greatest people on earth can experience or feel or understand. And I'm so thankful and grateful for that I have put this together. What I want to ask you right now, Billy Carson, Dr. B. Sirius, 2 of the best speakers in this arena that we're talking, in this subject that we're talking about right now. We talk often about appreciation. We talk about gratitude and how important it is to tap into that frequency. I like to use real life examples and current examples with these teachings so people can fully understand it and so that the teachers can fully understand what they're teaching to the people. So we're teaching about gratitude and appreciation. Let me talk to you about this, Billy and Dr. B. If, you know, I get theatrical and all that. Our brother Rich likes to get theatrical. If, Billy Carson, if you have, if your son or your daughter, every time, or let's say your wife or whoever a loved one, every time you do something for them, Billy, thank you for bringing me a blanket. Hey, Billy, thank you for bringing me a cup of water. Oh, Billy, thank you for coming today to pick me up. Hey, Billy, thank you for this. Hey, Billy, you may say, hey, you ain't got to thank me for that. It's all right, man. I'm supposed to do this. You may say, listen, man, I'm your father. I'm supposed to do it. Don't worry about it. You ain't got to, because they may say, if they're really thankful, they may say, hey, Billy, thank you for bringing me a plate of food. And you be like, nigga, I'm supposed to bring you a plate of food. I'm your dad. Nigga, you ain't supposed to, like, goddamn. Thank you. Because it may seem like they're begging. Thank you for bringing me a plate of food. So the point of me saying that is that if you feel that way, if your children continuously thank you over and over again, they teach us to be thankful and appreciative. How does God feel when we be grateful and appreciative for every single thing? Because they say we're supposed to be grateful for every single thing. If we're grateful for every single thing, it almost seems like that's supposed to happen. And God is like, I'm supposed to do that. So it almost feels unnatural. So it almost, a person feels like, I can't tap into that vibration of gratitude. I can't tap into that vibration of appreciation because that shit feels weird. To a lot of people, it feels weird to be thankful about every single thing because it's like, I'm supposed to do that. So why am I supposed to be thankful about every single fucking thing? What do you have to say about the people that feel like that?
Well, Dr. B go first on this one.
Dr. B rubbing his head. He like,
this is where the magic happens. Okay,
go ahead, Dr. B.
Let me take my herbs.
Oh,
take a little focus.
Come on, Dr. B. Come on.
1996, September.
Come on.
Carnival cruise.
Yes, sir.
We end up in the Bermuda Triangle, my whole family.
Yes.
I'm on the bow of the boat all night, having a shift. In fact, I've just found the watch that was froze, and I'm talking about it in my book, What Happened to Me in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
And it ain't like television. It ain't like that. This is a whole nother thing. And I had 4.5 hours, 5 hours of missing time. And I remember when I came to, and I didn't know what happened. But one of the first things that I said after I looked down in the water and I saw thousands of dolphins, excuse me, thousands of dolphins going around the boat. And I just started saying, thank you. Thank you. Because when you say thank you, it sends out this energy. First of all, anything with TH in it, THE, THA, that has to do with theology, theos. That has to do with like God energy. That TH, especially when you put an E or A on it. So when you're saying thankful, you're full of godness. Everything that happens is happening for a reason. And we sometimes forget that this life is it's like an obstacle course that we chose to be in. Some people say, well, Dr. B, I'd never choose this life. Why wouldn't you? If you had everything, right? What do you want? Something you didn't have. So sometimes you need to go down and ride that roller coaster and be scared to death. You know, sometimes they're putting that pressure and that stress is what causes your telomeres and your genes to begin to rewire themselves. Without that pressure, without that stress, without the drama, without the trauma that we've been through, we may never become who we're going to become because it takes that. And see, we forgot that. We got to this place where we're like, oh my God, look what happened to me. Look what they did. And we want to blame everybody. We want to blame. As long as you blame it, then you can't take it into yourself and realize that you are the creator of everything. It's all coming from you, through you, for you, by you, with you. Long as you realize that you're the captain. But to do that, you got to get in a whole brain state. One of the things that we're going to teach in the class is how to get in a whole brain state. A whole brain state is when your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are working together. They're synced up for one goal, because your subconscious a lot of times is focused on what had happened, the experiences of the past, all those things. It's all written in there. It's like a huge library without any emotion. The conscious mind has ideas and goals, and it has will, but it's tied to the subconscious, right? And all this stuff pops up to test us. When you get in a whole brain state, now you can create a goal based on balance. So now you're saying, I am grateful for the $1 million or the $1 billion. I'm grateful for the wonderful relationship. I'm grateful for all the things that you desire. You're grateful for healing and wholeness. Now, you may not feel like you're there right now, but that's an illusion, because like Billy said, you got to become the observer. Once you can really truly observe yourself from the outside, and now you can appoint yourself. There's a thing called, we're going to teach this also, this black flame meditation. We're going to teach this in class, the black flame meditation, where you appoint, right, the person within you to go get what it is you desire. It will do it. Once you learn how to do this and you learn this focus and you learn how to not blink, that's a whole nother piece. Because when you blink, you keep changing the channels, and we keep blinking. That's what we know. We're scrolling through the internet. We're blinking, and we're getting all this mass distraction. when you got to be focused on what you are. You got to mind your business and business your mind. And to do that, you've got to set yourself right, this thing where you are only on this one thing. And this one thing I can say about Google, it's good and it's not so good. Some folks can't live without Google. Well, Google says, and Wikipedia says, and they can't think. They were able to before we got these things, before these devices, because now you got this information that's being given to you that may not be totally factual. You know, you got Chat BGT. Is that the name of it? It can be giving you some information. You feel like this is it. No information is it. I was talking to the scientists when I was teaching at UCLA, and none of them knew exactly what fire really was. They didn't really know what electricity was. They didn't understand the gravitational thing. They all had theories and theorems. But we use these things, but we don't totally understand. And the best thing is to exostand. When you're exostanding, you're standing outside of yourself and you're observing what's going on and you're putting yourself in the place, the place to be. You are there now. GodPower 2, I'm there now. I'm actually at GodPower 3 because I already know that at least what I'm going to cover and what I've heard Billy's going to cover, it's going to have to be another one because this information is expanding because this is the first time we're able to give it this way. This is the first time people are going to be able to hear it this way. So you couldn't get this before. And there's information coming about that never came about before because the earth is saying it's time to expand. You see, we're going to be using pranic energy. When you get into the pranic energy and what they call the vital force fields within yourself, and you're able to become you become the torus. You become the toroidal transformer. In music, we use this thing called the toroidal transformer to really make music loud. It's like a donut with wire wrapped around it. It creates a torus, which is basically like the flower of life or the star tetrahedron. That's that Tetris. You see, we start talking about the way energy moves. You got to create that vortex. When you create that vortex, you can't blink, but we're taught to blink. See, a lot of times, you know, we blink because we almost can't handle it. You know, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You know, we blink a lot of times. We, oh my God, what was that? Why did that happen? What just happened? And we become scared of stuff. Fear comes in. Oh God, something really happened. I saw something. I saw light. I have seen some things. I have been to these other realms. I don't just talk about it. When I talk about something, I've been there. It's real. It's actual. And there's worlds upon worlds around worlds. If you knew what was on your finger, if you knew about the world that existed on your finger, that's why I say we have to stop saying I so much and me so much and get into we, because we are a virtual, we're galaxies upon galaxies, and we're very old and we're very young. And what's happening is we're challenging ourselves to grow. Just like that lobster. It's got to go down under the water after a while. The shell gets too tight. It splits that shell open, right? And it crawls out. It's got to make a new shell. You see, but you got to feel pain and pressure to do that. Right now is the time to open up the blueprint and learn these particular pieces that can take us and use our vital force energy to create the whole brain state. Once we're creating the whole brain state, we realize that everything is happening within us. We are the weather. We are the news. We're the good, the bad. We're all of it. Once you accept it, then you can begin to say, I am the captain of the ship. And even though we're going through the weather right now, we have a goal and we are goal-minded.
Right. But Dr. B, before I continue with the next question, one of the things you're going to talk about in the workshop is neuro-linguistic programming. And I think that's so important, but I don't think the people even, like, this is some advanced stuff. I don't think the people even know what that means. So can you talk up a little bit about you dealing with neuro-linguistic programming in the workshop, my brother?
Well, I took a course called psychological kinesiology years ago.
Yes.
And that led into NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, where they have looked at people's facial expressions, tones, and things, the body language, micro movements of the face and the body. And they said that when people are happy, they act like this. And when they do this, they act like that. And this must be what's on their mind. But there was a piece missing. They didn't take into consideration. And this is even with the course I took, the subconscious alignment course. It only worked with people of a certain complexion. This is deep. I learned I was an advanced, what they call facilitator for the subconscious alignment. But it only worked with certain people. People who had a certain color skin, a darker skin, it didn't work for them. They'd be looking at me like, well, Dr. B, man, I need my money back, man. Nothing has happened. I have no shift. I've been sitting here with you for 3 hours, man, waiting for a shift. And all I am is hungry now. I want a grapefruit and a cigarette.
I'm hungry.
I want a grapefruit and a cigarette. I eat one every morning. I didn't have it because I come here with you and nothing has gone on. And I went back to my teacher. I said, look, this thing seems to only work with the Caucasian folks. They're leaving happy, giving me black credit cards and carte blanche. What? And she said, well, that's impossible. I said, well, wait a minute. Where did you get this information? She pulls down this map and shows me all these hieroglyphs. She said the positions and all these things that we do, there's these positions, you know, you'll see when you see the show that we have coming out, Ask Dr. B. I talk a lot of, this class is about subconscious alignment.
Yes.
There's positions that you are in, right? And which makes sacred geometry, which changes you in the way you think. I said, you got this from, where'd you get this from?
Yes.
Well, the oldest thing in the world, Egypt. I said, uh-oh, we got a problem. Where'd y'all get that from? But there are things that are older than that have no age. You took a piece because of your culture and you wanting to just get to the money or whatever it is, or get to the commerce, and you stopped. But what I realized, that when I took the balances, that's what they call them, and flipped them backwards. Like instead of what they have this thing called a vac to the future of you make a visual auditory kinesthetic picture of what you desire. Didn't work for me. What do you mean a visual auditory kinesthetic picture? I had to flip it. Kinesthetic auditory visual picture. You got to feel it first, because when you feel it, and you know, I know Billy gets into this, the heart, it becomes like a super magnet. It begins to, I mean, your real heart, not that emotional heart that you got in your head that you got to think about what you feel. You know what I'm saying? That's your mind thinking. But your heart becomes a magnet. And when you understand heart math and how your heart puts out these toroidal vibrations, right, that are huge, it attracts. It's like gravity. So when you put kinesthetic first, this is a small piece, kinesthetic auditory visual, feel it first. We're always talking about, we need to see it. See the pink flame. I used to be at these meetings. See the pink flame. When you see the pink flame, imagine it's around you. And imagine there is a beautiful crystal underwater. I'm sitting here. I don't know about this, man. I don't feel it. Because it didn't feel right. Everybody's all having a thing, and then they're all crying and everything. I'm like, man, I got to get out of here, man. Go home and have a grapefruit. You know, so I'm going to say it really quickly here. I realized that neuro-linguistic programming was not just what because they did this with computer models. They created with computer models. Well, guess what? In between the ones and the zeros, there's this area that they don't know about. It's analog.
Yes.
In between the ones and the zeros, there's no empty space. There is no such thing.
What's in between? What's in between?
Really quickly.
Talk to me.
The thing that they were missing was the language. And how we all speak a very special language. So in order to get you to that next mode, you're going to have to learn this language. So when I say neuro-linguistic programming or processing or reprogramming, you're going to learn how to ask for certain things or create certain things with a language, that you can feel. And that feeling creates that vibration in the heart. And that attracts you to whatever that you desire automatically.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Powerful stuff, man.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all. Well, first of all, let me say this. We got about 15 more minutes left. We're about to round it up, about to end it. We've been. I mean, wow, what a show! Like I said, we've been. I told y'all this is going to be an epic show. We've been on here for over 2 hours. I want to ask y'all with the next. Well, first of all, I want to tell the people the workshop Blueprint for GodPower Part 2 is coming in October. It's a virtual workshop. Anybody in the world can attend. Anybody in the world with an internet connection can attend. All you have to do is click on the link in the description or at the top of this chat to join. Once you join that workshop, we have bonus content for you. Part of the bonus content is something exclusive that has never been seen or has never been done before on planet Earth. It's called the 7 Sacred Prayers, and it's 7 of the masters of planet Earth right now in this present time-space continuum. They have made prayers, and they are reciting them, and it's going to be extremely helpful to your everyday life. I mean, it's extremely inspirational. So I'll talk more about that on another show. I already talked about that. But yeah, it's amazing what we're offering with this workshop. So with that being said, to continue to round up the end of this workshop, got a couple of more questions for you, gentlemen. If we live in a free will universe, and if humanity decides to, if everything is the mind, we all talk about the mind. Tahuti, these deities talk about the mind. If we live in a free will universe and the humanity decides that as part of the collective conscience agreement, we're not going to experience the Kali Yuga, the cycles of time anymore, will we stop experiencing what we're experiencing now? Because this shit is a motherfucker. Because we got to wait to the golden age, then the silver age, then it's the bronze age, then it's the age where everybody kills, murders, and rapes each other, and it's like absolutely horrible, and we got to work our way up to that golden age again where things get better. But then after things get better, we're like, oh shit, things going to get real messed up in 1,000, 2,000 years. So I'm going to prepare my great grandchildren because things is going to get bad. And then you got to, it's you know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I already know.
Yeah. So
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Can we eliminate these dark ages collectively in humanity if we want to, according to the free will theory?
This is a great question, something that I've talked about before. You know, I've read now, just in the last 20 years, over 1,000 books, scriptures, papyruses, cuneiform tablets, cylinder scrolls, ancient texts from all around the world. I've met with sages, bushmen, right? Wisdom keepers, homegrown guides, homegrown archaeologists, all around this planet. Just in the last 2 years, I've been to over 20 countries and over 259 cities and spent 6 months in hotels last year and the year before, 5.5 months in hotels.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I'm saying is I've been out there in the field. I've been out there. And, you know, it's really interesting that when you go out there and you start to continue to talk and search for this knowledge, you begin to hear the stories that have been handed down for thousands and thousands of years, stories that I've read now for over 2 decades, that there's this rise and fall of civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
However, even Thoth in the Emerald Tablets, he says, many of the worlds I've traveled, many of the races of men on their worlds, seeking the heights and plumbing to the depths, moving at times in realms of brightness, gaining the heights and falling to the depths.
Mm.
He says that he has watched countless civilizations rise and fall.
Mm.
Nowhere does he have written, nowhere do any of these ancient sages and wisdom keepers have written, nowhere in any text that I have ever read anywhere has ever said that we have to fall. Thoth says, keep seeking the light, because light is thine heritage, old man. Light is thine birthright.
Right. Okay.
So the answer to this is,
yes,
we in this particular rise to the height of this new Kali Yuga, coming out of the Tetra Yuga into the Silver Age, heading back towards the Golden Age. We, this civilization, have the power, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the know-how to create and build a Golden Age that can sustain itself and not fall again. Could this be? This is the great grand experiment. This is the universal
Yes, yes, Billy.
Pyramids.
Yeah.
These cycles, this cyclical nature of civilizations. How many can stop this cycle? How many can get here and then go here? You see? Stop this cycle and go here.
Yeah, I like that.
This is one of
like
those
that.
civilizations. And this is why we're doing what we're doing, to build a golden age
that can
sustain it.
That can sustain it.
Exactly.
Oh man. Wow. What an answer, Billy. What an inspiring answer. That shit inspired me. Go ahead, Dr. B. I'm sorry. Whoa, that's great. Oh, I love it.
Greatest time to be alive.
Yes. Yes.
See, we think in sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, sir.
See, the 26,000 year calendar, right? Or the 24,000, it shifts. It seems like it's a circle or a spiral. It seems like that from our point of view. But guess what? It isn't. It only is because that's who is viewing it. So we keep talking about the bad, how bad it is, and how we need to protect ourselves, right? And there's no wolf out there. See, man created fear. The women weren't worried about that. They were making food, and they said there's no wolves coming into the village. And the men are like, no, the wolves are coming. We got to protect. We got to build a fence. There's a saber-toothed dog out there. It's going to eat everyone. See, man creates that drama. If you live in a place of love, now, I'm not saying things are not going to happen to challenge you, because it has to be challenged. There's going to be storms. Once you are able to elevate your mind to a place, once you're able to slip out, and if those of you who have done this know what I'm talking about, where you're out there, you're not in here. Now you do like Billy said, instead of going around, you're going straight across, or you're going straight in, or you're flipping the whole thing. Because what you call falling is maybe actually rising. Oh, you're on, if this is a ball, because they got an argument whether this is a flat earth. I want to talk about the flat earth.
The flat earth.
Flat earth, whatever.
Man,
even whether it's flat or not, you better go pay your gas bill.
What
difference does it make what you're on? But the bottom line here is, listen, you can create another reality. You can look, a child falls, and the mother sees the child is scraped. Yes. And one mother comes over, oh my God, the child, it's gonna die. Oh Lord, there's blood everywhere. That child takes a long time to heal and leaves a scar. Another mother comes over and says, oh baby, it's all right. It's just a little scratch. Let me put a little napkin on it. Go ahead, let me sing you a little song. Mama's little baby. And guess what? That baby's hand heals faster.
Dr. B, that's that shape-shifting matter.
Because we are
shapeshifter.
We are shapeshifters. We're alchemists.
Yes.
We're in transmutation mode. See, we forgot that we're right now in this place called calcination, which is in the beginning. And in the calcination period, right? That's when you're burning off all the stuff, all the dross, all the stuff that isn't the pure metal. Then we got to get to separation. See, we just now getting to the point where we can start separating things. So you got to separate yourself from yourself, with yourself, by yourself, for yourself. And until you do that, until you wake up and realize that you got to go back to sleep, to go inward and stop saying, I'm so woke, I'm so conscious. You're not. You're only saying that, and it sounds good, and it's commercial. You got to get silence. See, sometimes that person, I remember we used to go to the record deals. We used to go to like these conferences, and there would be a little guy sitting in the corner with raggedy shoes on, holes in his pants, looked like he was homeless. He owns the whole event. He wasn't talking. He didn't have all this fake stuff on. See, what we're doing is we're getting into all this fake stuff so that moves you away from the real stuff, because nobody wants you to feel. Because if they can play with your feelings and tell you what to think and tell you how you should accept something, that person was bad. This is what they did. They play it in the news. They tell you this is the 6 o'clock news, and guess what? This just in. It just in. What just in? Some talk just came in that may not be based in fact, and then you judge because you're caught up in this thing and you're not ready to make that move. Instead of going around in a circle, in a sequential circle, you can jump, you can arc anything. That is the arc, the Noah's ark, Knower. You got to know some of the things that I do, some of the things that you do, Brother Rich, some of the things that you do, Billy, you don't talk about. We can't talk about it.
Yes, sir.
If you saw what I saw last night, I'm telling you what I saw last night. If you would have saw what came through my room and had a whole conversation with me in my bed and told me don't move, to shut up.
Oh,
most people would freak out. I sat there and told them, thank you. Got up and ran the bathtub and filled it with fulvic acid. You understand what I'm saying? But what's fulvic acid? Don't worry about what that's what they told me to do. Go get some fulvic acid and take a bath. See, when you're being led by yourself, and when you meet this thing called the devil, the evil one, you realize that's me. Okay. That's me. It's all me. You know, you walk in the movie, you go to the movie theater because they got a movie about you, right? So you go to the movie theater, you walk in, you get your popcorn, and you're watching the first few scenes. You say, wait a minute, this is not me. That's not how I act. And you're leaving the movie theater. This is from the book, The Fifth Agreement, by the way. You're leaving the movie theater, and there's one person in the movie theater, they're happy eating popcorn. And you look and say, that's my mother. She's happy. This is her movie of you. And you leave upset because it's not how I am, but that's how she sees you. So you go to the next movie theater, and there's your father. And you say, that's not me, but that's what your father sees. See, you got to realize that what you think you're seeing and who you think you are and how you think you're showing up is not how you're actually showing up. Your ego is telling me, this is me. This is who I am. I'm the manager of the job. I'm the boss. I'm this. I'm that. And then all of a sudden you skin your knee and you're calling for mommy again. And mommy got to come nurture you. So Mama Earth comes to nurture you in ways that sometimes you don't like. You're going to spray some neosporin on the thing and it can't even heal now because now it's killing the friendly bacteria, right? Now your microbiome is off because the microbiome is connected to everything. That's your whole world. That's your universe. That is billions and billions and billions of creatures that have been here forever and will be here forever. Wow. Even when you're gone, they're creating you. And we ain't even going to talk about the mitochondria right now and what they got going on because everything they told you about the mitochondria is 1%.
Hey, Dr. B.
1%.
Hey,
you gotta know when you meet certain people who's working their mitochondria. I haven't met a lot of people working their mitochondria. When I met Billy, that first time I met him, I said, oh, he's working his mitochondria. This ain't him. In fact, how is he in 4 places at one time? He's on 3 different platforms at one time. Then I was at his house and watched him do this. He comes different characters. He's walking from one room to the next room. Okay, I got to do this. I got to see. The normal person couldn't do what he's doing. One minute I saw him, I said, oh yeah, Billy looks bad. He got to go to sleep. I need him to go because I'm herbalist, health guy. He looks like he got to go to sleep. Then I look at him on the screen. His eyes ain't even red no more. How do he do that? Because he's working his mitochondria. Now, guess what? Everybody can do it. And we all have a different way of teaching it. I teach a certain way. Billy teaches a certain way. Brother Rich, you teach a certain way. So right now, we got to realize that we're all very unique artists. We're alchemists.
Yes, sir.
We are the quantum shape shifters. And we would like to teach everybody who is willing, ready, and able to do this to change. That's what's going to change the world. We ain't got to worry about which yuga we in, which universe we in, how bad it is, how good it is. We're just going to be. Now we can be, do, have. Is it be, do, have, or is it do, be, have? Be, do, have. But we're there. Congratulations. We have made it. Now let's use this thing.
Yes, sir. Wow. Amazing. Hey, with Dr. B say that once again, family, the link for Blueprint for GodPower 2, anybody in the world could join. It is a virtual workshop. It's happening October 29th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. The site actually crashed today. Several people have texted me. Several people have posted in the comments that the site crashed. Eventbrite, this is a multi-million-dollar company. The site crashed. I advise you to get tickets as soon as you can, because we cannot guarantee bandwidth. We could bullshit, we could do what we want and say what we want, but we cannot guarantee the bandwidth will be there. Get your tickets, family, as soon as you can for the Blueprint for GodPower 2. If my people on my website on YouTube could crash Eventbrite, a multi-million-dollar website, then imagine what y'all could do for the actual workshop. So this is why I'm saying, get your tickets as soon as possible. The link is pinned at the top of the chat, and the link is also in the description of this video. It has been an absolutely phenomenal video tonight. I'm hyped. We've been on here for about 2.5 hours. I want to ask about I got one more question, and then we could get out of here. Let me ask y'all this. Let me look at my notes. I have a notepad here. Let me ask you this, Billy and Dr. B. Let me ask you this, Billy and Dr. B. So I was reading Scientific American, and I'm reading Scientific American, and I'm looking at the definition of when a star is born. And they say a star is born, Dr. B laughing. They say a star is born when atoms of light elements are squeezed under enough pressure for their nuclei to undergo fusion. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking about Tahuti, I'm thinking about Hermeticism, I'm thinking about as above, so below, and I'm thinking about, okay, so this is what happens when a star is born in the cosmos. So what happens when we hear the term down here, a star is born. Michael Jordan, a star is born. We always hear that term. So what happens, do you think, when a star is born in this realm? Because I read the definition of what a star is born in that realm. What do you think is happening inside the human body when a star is born in this realm for a person to become who they are that we all look up to in a certain fashion or way?
Well, if you look at fractals. On the mass scale, you just greatly described how a star is born, right?
Yeah.
And so we know that star is born, but we know because of fractals that the star also is going to die eventually.
Yes.
And so when that star uses up all of its nuclear fuel and then it runs out, it begins to burn heavier and heavier elements until it has a supernova, and then it finally sheds off all that excess mass.
Right.
That excess mass gets shed off. What happens to those heavier elements? They go on to create new solar systems, new stars, and even planets that have people on them. Mm-hmm. So we are already stars walking in the flesh.
Okay.
The heavy elements that make up this avatar body, this meat suit, all came from the interior of a nuclear furnace from the inside of a star billions of years ago. We are recycled stardust.
Okay.
Now, you take it now to the metaphor.
Yes,
what
sir.
happens when a person becomes a star?
Yes.
Well, how did the star become a star? When you talked about the formation of a star from the basic physics, standard physics, we're talking about those elements finding their passion. And when they coalesced enough in what they call an accretion disk to find their passion and live in that passion, they ignite it. Well, when a person on this planet finds their passion, that becomes a perfectionist at their passion, that lives in their passion, and that finds a need for their passion in the world and provides it as a service, they then become a star in the flesh.
Talk, Billy. Yeah, I like that. I like that talk.
Yeah,
I like that.
And that's what the star is. When a person now becomes, a shooting star or a shining star, they're living in their passion. They have learned their blueprint for GodPower. They have tapped in to that divine spark inside of them for that talent that they hold and host inside of themselves. They have perfected it, and they're giving it to the world, the people that want it the most. And those people are wanting it and accessing that power, that whatever that service is, whatever that skill set is, that passion, and that creates the star.
Oh man, awesome.
In the music industry, I always had a knack for picking out stars.
Yes, sir.
I'd pick out people out of a crowd. There'd be 30, 40, 50 people at an audition. And I would say, that person. They said, well, you haven't even heard them. I don't need to hear them. There's an energy, there's an auric field around people that are in their element. They're glowing. You see, that's that thing they show around the Jesus head and all that. That's energy glowing. And you have that as long as you're expressing and you're using the genius. Genius basically means to know without learning.
Ooh.
You don't need to learn anything to be a genius. You've read 25, 3,500 books, and now you're talking about you're a genius. You ain't no genius. You're very intelligent. That's good. You can remember all that. But a genius knows without learning. It's happening in the moment. It's happening right now. It may never have happened before. They're pulling it out of the atmosphere, you see. So a star is a person who is expressing themselves like trees and plants. They express themselves. No matter how many times you cut the grass, it keeps growing. No matter how many storms come, the tree keeps growing new leaves and new limbs, and they grow in a whole nother way. They're growing in a whole golden mean, a spiral. You see, when you get into the Fibonacci, it's always expanding. It's these expanding numbers. We're expanding, but what we sometimes have done is learn how to truncate ourselves and limit ourselves based on belief, based on all these things, based on pain, trauma. And then we start having these trauma bonds, and we have trauma relationships. Then we go into the trauma convention now. Everybody there got drama, and that's all they do over the whole weekend is talk about drama. And then you come back home saying, yeah, I got friends that's dramatic too. And now it's just, we can't shine until we decide we're ready to shine. And all of a sudden, the sun energy in us, the solar plexus, which is an inner sun, right? It begins to expand. That's your battery. That's your gut. That's your microflora. That's your microbiome. Once you begin to realize that you are extremely creative and that you are music and that you have to sing a song, you have to have your own rhythm. Get out of your monotone. Take off all that fake stuff for a minute. Who are you? It's like I told these guys in the studio one day, these hip hoppers was in there cutting the track, and they said, well, B, we want you to come and check out what we're doing. I said, okay, this is great. Take off the 808. They said, what you mean? Take off the 808 kick drum. And what do you have? All of a sudden, the whole song fell apart. I said, so you can't make a song without that 808 drum? So really, you are not the real hip hop. You are using a tool, right, that tries to get people's attention to make you think that you got this super talent. We are all supernovas. It's like supernova 1987A. I talk about that a lot. Supernova 1987A. Look that up. When the green light from that hit the earth, the whole thing changed. It looks like a huge eye in the sky.
Right.
But we're all enlightened, but we now got to learn to become endarkened, because that's when you go into the black hole inside yourself. We all have black holes in ourselves.
Man,
that is the space. You go into a black hole, everything dies. How you ain't never been there? They got these theories and theorems, but realize that we all have to get into the music and the vibe, the serious vibes. Serious vibes. In fact, I got a television show coming out starting on, when does it come out, Billy? Is it Sunday?
I believe Sunday, yeah. Your first episode of Serious Vibes with Dr. B Sirius on Forbidden Knowledge TV.
And we relate music and vibration and all this to everything. And I'm interviewing a lot of different producers and writers and people who have a very deep, understanding, overstanding, understanding, and exostanding of music and how music affects everything. The orchestra of the world.
Right.
Yeah, so it's called Serious Vibes. It's coming on this Sunday.
In
fact, what's really deep? My first guest on the show is Brother Rich. And he takes it to another level. People were there watching and cried. He was so animated.
Yo, I think that's my gift, to tap into the emotional field of a human being.
Yeah,
but I have that ability to make somebody cry, not in a sad, angry way, but in a emotional, in a good way. So that's dope. I'm glad you told me that, Dr. B.
Man, the thing is awesome. Do you have that little clip that I sent you? The clip?
Oh, it was awesome. Oh, no, I haven't. Let me play it.
Play a little clip from the show.
Let me see what's the name of it. Clip 1 Sirius.
Yeah, this show's gonna be fire, man.
Where's this going to be? Billy, where's this going to be? This clip?
It's going to be on Forbidden Knowledge TV, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, iOS App Store, Google Play, Samsung TVs. Just get the Forbidden with the number 4, Forbidden Knowledge TV app. It's everywhere. Just get the free app and you can watch Forbidden Knowledge TV.
Let's look at this clip real quick on Forbidden. This is from Forbidden Knowledge TV. All right, Dr. B, his show, Serious Vibes. I'm one of the first guests on his show. Where's it at? Oh, hold up. Oh, wow. Oh. Why is it doing that?
Frequency and vibration is the substance of all things. We are all musicians in a cosmic orchestra. Our goal is to journey through the powerful, mysterious world of music to awaken, align, and elevate life force energy for the mind, body, and soul. This is a sacred space for you to tap in, tune up, vibe out, while we dive deep into the inner sanctum of creativity. We invite you to accept this invitation to explore, expand, experience, and elevate with these serious vibes.
Life is music. When you take music out of life, you know, you get noise. And that's what we get now. We're hearing noise. We don't hear music, we're hearing noise. The violence is noise. It's static.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's not harmonic, it's not melodic, it's not rhythmic.
Yes.
Relationships are noise right now.
Wow.
It's not melodic. We're not holding hand. You hold the person's hand, and we used to swing hands. That's music.
Yes.
Swinging hands. That's a melody
That's
right
an
there.
arc
That's
and a pulse.
That's a pulse. That's a beat. That's a metronome. 1 and 2 and 3. We don't do that no more.
Yes.
We don't even hold a hand.
Yeah.
Kissing is melodic, harmonic.
Yes.
When's the last time you see somebody kissing on the street? When I was young, man, they used to be on the train station like this, making out and all that. We don't get none of that. That's music.
Yes.
When you take music out of life, you slowly but surely take other elements out of life one by one by one by one, and we wind up where we're at now. A society full of static and a society full of noise that doesn't feel comfortable. When you hear static, when you hear noise, you go like this, and that's what everybody's doing right now. They're going like this. They're uncomfortable. When you hear static, it bothers your mind. What do you think people doing right now? They have mental illness. It bothers their mind.
Yes.
World full of static and noise right now, my brother. We got to get back to the music. Got to. Man, oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. That is awesome. Dr. B, tell the people how they can see that episode right there.
You got to ask Billy. He's in charge.
There'll be one episode released every single week exclusively on Forbidden Knowledge TV with the number 4. Just get the Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4, Forbidden Knowledge TV app on any app store, and install it and sign up for your free trial and watch the Dr. B Serious Vibes series. First guest on there is Richard Merritt, aka Black Magic 363, and many other incredible guests. And we're talking cymatics, frequencies, the universe, alchemy, meditation, the whole gambit. Dr. B is amazing. Ask Dr. B is just a whole nother thing. I mean, there's so much going on, but again, Dr. B, hats off to you, man. You're an amazing human being, an amazing spiritual wisdom keeper, and it's an honor to know you. It's an absolute honor.
And I want to thank you, Billy, for being you and you opening up that world, because I was asleep for a while, and I'm tired, man. You know what I'm saying? I felt like that leaf. I felt like that leaf that the brother had. Let me just rest. But, after, connecting with you and feeling that electricity, and after really listening to what Brother Rich was saying about this combination, because he foresaw it, he was in precognition here mode. And he saw us working together. And now we've become this beautiful team with respect and love without the ego. And we do what we got to do. And this is something that everybody needs to look at now, coming together in groups. So I'm thankful to both of you, to your families, to your children, to your ancestors, however you got here, whatever you eating, keep doing it. And we're going to take this to the next level. And this GodPower and even the awards. I mean, my mind is still blown that I have been, nominated. I'm like, for what? You know what I'm saying? Because, we don't do this for, all that. We do it because we love people. We do this because we'd like to see change in the world and live in the world, or have our children live in the world who can experience change and take control, instead of the last, 6,000 years or so being under control and walking around like sheep on a damn farm. We're becoming black sheep. You got to be ready to jump that fence. And you can, once you know you can. So I want to thank both of you. It's an honor to work with both of you, and all of the people who were at GodPower 1. Thank you. The folks that have been going to our website, elevationtime.com. And, it's funny how y'all, you break that every time, every time folks go to my website, elevationtime.com. But, we realize that we got to get rid of the mental parasites, the spiritual parasites, and the physical parasites that are eating us alive. And they're not bad. They're attempting to let you know something's going on and we need to bring balance. So let's get out of the world that we were in and create a new world. We are the alchemists. We are the ones who are creating this world. We are the God particles coming together right now. And it can only happen now. So thank you very much. Much love to you all. And let's do this. Let's take it all the way. Let's show them.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Blueprint for GodPower 2 workshop coming up in October. For those who have joined us late, I have shown the people so many things that you are getting with this virtual workshop. Anywhere in the world that you are, you could join the workshop. You could sign up. We have bonus content. And this is the first. Usually you have to wait till the day of the workshop to get the workshop. With this workshop, we have bonus content that you will receive within 24 to 48 hours of signing up that will hold you over until the actual day of the workshop. And that bonus content is the 7 sacred prayers. And it's amazing, family. If you just logging in, it's some of the masters in this day and time. They're recording their sacred conversations with God. And oh my God, it's so inspiring. It's something that will benefit all of us. And like I showed it earlier, and Billy broke down and he was talking, and Dr. B was doing what he do. And Professor Kaba was doing what he do. Let me show y'all a snippet because we're about to get out of here. We're about to end it. Let me just show you a snippet of what I'm talking about. Everybody who signs up for this workshop, the link is pinned at the top of the chat and is also pinned in the description. Everybody who signs up for this will get the bonus content within 48 hours. This is the 7 sacred prayers. So shout out to everybody who signed up tonight. You will get this within 48 hours, and this will help you with a lot of things in your life. And it'll hold you over until the actual workshop. So let's get to the sneak peek right quick.
Yes. The blood you shed is my shield.
Some things are great. Some things aren't so great. Some things are making me happy, and some things are actually making me sad. And so I'm asking for the things that are making me sad. What can I do, God, that can enlighten me? What can I do to solve these problems? What can I do to fix these problems? I'm asking for guidance and the solutions to this problem. In my relationship, I'm looking for a deeper connection. In my relationship, I'm looking for a way to make this into a long-lasting situation. Right now, everything looks good on the outside, but sometimes there are problems on the inside, and I'm seeking guidance and commanding the understanding that I need right now to be able to look past and solve these issues and problems within my own relationship in my life. I have 2 kids that are struggling, and I'm asking right now, how do I fix this problem? I'm seeking guidance on this. I'm asking and commanding for the knowledge and the wisdom to solve these problems and have solutions to these problems. Calling on the frequency
that courses through my veins, that travels the same distance as all the way around the earth. I'm grateful for my parents.
Move through our lives, we look in the mirror and we say, I love you, and mean it. Because if we cannot love ourselves, no one else can. And we cannot love anyone else. So we pray, we invoke the spirits of our ancestors to dwell within us, to guide us, to shape us, to inspire us, both female and male energy. Embrace us, take us to where we have to go, no matter how short or long our lives may be. We are all here for
The laser light for the purpose of accelerating your chakras from your heart chakra, your throat, your first eye, your crown.
This, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read it. And
Hey, we're going. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Listen, I'm so thankful. I've been hyped the whole show tonight. I'm gonna calm down. I'm relaxed now. Family, it's over. But wow, I'm so proud of that. It's called the 7 Sacred Prayers, and I feel as though it's something that we have never seen before, done by master teachers in this day and age, and it was so personal. And to hear them have these sacred conversations with God, it was so personal. Some of them said, "Rich, are you sure you want me to share this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I want the people to have a blueprint to follow. I want the people to know that it's okay to think this way. It's okay to think that way. And Billy poured it all out. Billy poured it all out. Dr. B poured it all out. I mean, Dr. B poured it all out. They let it all out with their prayers and their conversations with God. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to go over it, but this emotional intelligence form of teaching is going to reach a heart frequency, and it's going to cause us to emanate a certain frequency from our heart. And I'm just so proud. I'm so thankful. I cannot say that enough. With that being said, Billy, Dr. B, this is our first show. We premiered the GodPower Part 2 workshop tonight. Let the people know any contact information you want to give them as we close out the show.
I just say, if anyone wants to be added to my list of inspiration, motivation, and notifications of times that I go live to talk about things that could be incredible, life-changing knowledge, just send me a text message at 954-245-0086. That's 954-245-0086. And you'll be added to a list where, every now and then you'll get a message from me. I just dropped it in the chat. And I would just say, a lot of information has been talked about tonight. We've been on here for about 3 hours.
3 hours.
Replay this video. Replay this video. Yeah, because this video, man, thank you, Brother Rich. This is a powerful video.
Yes,
I'm gonna watch this video. Don't think that I don't watch these videos and I don't learn from these videos. Because a lot of the times, like Dr. B says, we're channeling. We go back and learn, like Dr. B said. He saw him saying the prayer. Saw himself saying the prayer. I gotta go listen to the whole thing because it's that powerful. You know what I'm saying? So I go back and I take it from the perspective of an outside person looking in, and I learn with the mind of a brand new baby and become a sponge and soak it back all in again, and then discern whatever else I can learn. I take a wet rag. That's this knowledge, and I just keep doing this, and I just keep ringing it and ringing it and ringing it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do, man. So yeah.
Dr. B?
Yes. I'm just thinking about something. First of all, I want to say something really quickly.
Yes, sir.
I want to send a special shout out to Billy and your wife, Elizabeth.
Indeed.
Because you guys came up with the idea of me doing these television shows, and I was totally against it, and I fought it. And I remember hearing Elizabeth said, "You have to do it. You have to do it. You're Dr. B." And I'm like, who is Dr. B? Because I don't see myself like that. But I want to thank both of you for, your hospitality and all that you bring to the planet. And Brother Rich, I just want to thank you, man. I don't really know your family, but I hear your son sometime in the background. Your wife, you're on some
Sirius.
stuff. So it's an honor to work with both of you. And in lieu of us, doing this show and also having my first show come on Sunday, and we're moving into the whole awards ceremony, we're doing a special, offer over at elevationtime.com. Just go on over there and check it out, elevationtime.com, that can help us on this journey because, sometimes we need some things. We need some supplements because we're out of balance a lot of times. There's certain things that we need, in order to get balance. And sometimes it's a mineral deficiency or it's a hormone deficiency that we can help balance using nature. So that's what we do at elevationtime.com. So for the rest of the week, there's a special going on over there. You can also find me at Doctah, Doctah, the letter B, over at with IG and YouTube. And I just wanted to thank all the people out here who've been helping, because we all have teams. We all have teams in the background that are helping work. I want to thank all the teams for what we're doing. And, This is a beautiful time. And I like all of you there to give yourself a hug. Everybody out there, give yourself a hug and slap yourself 5 for a minute. Give yourself some credit for being here. And stop looking at all the disagreeable stuff in your life and at least balance with some agreeable things. Okay. If you're going to watch negativity all day, then the other half of the day, watch positivity or something, so that you can tell yourself that this is all an illusion. It's all Maya. It's an illusion. You can change it. And we're changing it right now. We are doing the transmutation work at this particular moment. Let's do it together. Together. We are the ones, and we are the only ones, and we have to save ourselves right now. So much love to you all. Elevationtime.com is where you find me. And I'll see you guys Saturday when that show hits with 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. This
is going to be fun. Thank you. For
what you talking about? You talking about the
television show?
The
television show.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome. And real quick before we sign out, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Brother Rich Black Magic 363, and I'm just so thankful to be a part of this. So thankful to be a part of Dr. B Sirius show and Billy Carson show, and I just want the people to know that how real this thing that we are experiencing called emotions. I think I want the people to know how real, how important emotions are. I feel as though we look at emotions and we look at how our feelings as you're like, we just bypass it, and I want people to know how important, how much of an integral role it plays in the manifestation process. So when we do what we do, it means a lot to me. So, and I feel as though you brothers got a lot of passion in the work that you do. So I'm grateful for that. And it shows in how you teach. So yeah, I'm just grateful to be a part of this process. And I look forward to GodPower Part 2. And yeah, family, we're gonna continue to be on here and promote throughout the months and the weeks leading up to the actual workshop. So yeah, that's that.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you.
Right.
All right. With that being said, we get out of here, family. Peace.
Travel light.
Peace.
Travel light. You don't need all that luggage.
Yes, sir. Peace.